tall, tall pine trees grow. There'll live a preacher daughter, and she knows how to jelly roll. And a papa want to save my soul, but a sweet
this is the life.
You know, it'd be a lot more helpful if you were actually checking the GPS coordinates with that thing.
Well, hold on, Dane. I'm about to beat my high score.
Come on, man. We've been paddling our asses off up here.
Well, Levi, you are looking a little thinner.
Well, thank you. I've actually been feeling a lot thinner.
I haven't.
All right, so it's pretty much showing that it's right under us.
Like in the water?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you bring your pole?
No.
Thank God. Oh, damn it. What about you? Any luck?
Heck yeah, Dane. Look at all this cool stuff I've been finding.
Yeah, that's nice and all, but we're looking for coins.
Oh, the coin?
3 hours earlier.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I found that a while ago.
Wait.
Hold on. You mean to tell me you've had the coin this entire time?
Well, not the entire time, but like, I don't know, 3 hours or so.
Hours?
Hours?
Hours? We've been out here for hours.
I know. Isn't magnet fishing fun?
No! Levi, damn it. You've had your fun. Give me the coin.
All right.
All right, more coordinates, I hope?
Yeah. 43.41 degrees north by 116.43 degrees west.
Good, let's go, let's go. All right, onward!
Man, oh man, welcome to the afternoon section here on day 4 of TRCMA 2022. These intro videos, they just, they give me life. I love this stuff. So I hope you're enjoying the journey too, and who knows where it ends up, but I bet it's something fun. So anyway, that's me throwing that out there. I want to start today off by mentioning the sale that's going on, of course, over on the website there. Yes, there it is, 20% off, Thursday only on these brands. So if you have had any interest in these brands, today would be a great day to get in on that action. And to take things a step further, beyond that, you've got these wonderful charity coins. I can't stress enough. People, you got to take advantage of these things because they're extremely limited edition, and every cent, 100% of the proceeds from each one goes to the charity of that brand's choice. So the brand on the coin, they chose a charity. This one is going to water in Africa, so it's a fantastic charity there, and you should definitely support it. Once again, 100% of the proceeds there, and that's through PNS. So wonderful, wonderful, very happy to be a part of that. And I'm also going to point out I'm enjoying a delicious zero sugar Pepsi myself, sponsored by friends over at Pepsi. They're keeping everybody hydrated here at the show, so a little shout out to them too. It's been great keeping things going all week. It's been fun. So that's enough from me. Let's take a look at the schedule. We've got Flex Tools, Buff and Shine, and PNS to round out the afternoon. So without further ado, why don't we kick it over to the studio and see what's going on.
All right, so we are ramping up for an amazing afternoon of TRCMA Day. So the docket, right, for the rest of the day, Dane just went over, right? So we have Flex Tools, we have Buff and Shine, and a very special presentation from PNS that we're all looking forward to. But joining me today, right, because I know a lot about Flex Tools, but there's somebody that knows a lot more than me, and that would be Chris Metcalf of Flex Tools, joining us remotely. Chris, what's going on? think I can kind of hear him. Can you guys hear him? A little choppy. All right, so we're going to come back to me for just a little bit. Chris is going to try to fix his connection. That's totally okay. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull in one of my other good friends. You guys may have seen him before. He's kind of known as the master of shine. He's used quite a few different tools in his lifetime. Oh my gosh!
Hey, what are you doing?
Levi
What's
Gates.
going on?
I knew you. Somehow I knew you'd be here. Is it because we work together every
Possibly.
single day?
Yeah.
We're like brothers from another mother.
People think we're brothers. You know, when I was
Very
at Mobile
true.
Tech, people saw and said, "Hey, I know your brother," and I said, "Oh, you do?" And they're like, "Yeah, Anthony." And I said, oh, "Okay, he's not really my brother, but okay, that works."
They say, "I know your other brother." Who's that? Dane.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh, not really my blood brother either."
Yeah, but sure,
you know,
we're all brothers.
We're
yeah.
all brothers. So Flex Tools, right? So you guys obviously know the 30401, right? You know that
Yep.
Flex has really
The
expanded
beast.
their line within the last couple of years. It's been amazing to see how much growth that the brand has had, especially getting into the cordless tool realm. Now, for this year, something new and exciting, because last year something new and exciting happened, but now it's an addition to that new and exciting thing that I think that we all wanted to see.
Well, and I think this really provides a lot of versatility. You know, with the advent of the Pixie, the PXE 80.
Yes,
we like
okay,
to call it the Pixie.
I'll pick this up here in just a moment.
But you know, that tool really brought a whole level to the Flex lineup in terms of
100%.
what you could do with the machines now. You had that versatility in pad size.
Yep.
You know, you could go really small, fine detail work, or you could go, you know, in the nice tight corners. But then on top of that, fully battery powered, and the ability to change between rotary and long and short throw again.
Absolutely,
So Flex is always innovating, always trying to do the best, and their battery technology has been second to none.
Their battery technology is actually quite amazing. It really, really is. And so we have quite a few other battery powered tools here in the TRCMA, TRC studio,
Correct.
right? So a couple of them actually, the tools are being used. We have some lights back there. We have a vacuum that we were just using just a little bit ago. And so the battery powered stuff is just absolutely fantastic. And I can't stress that enough, how good their technology actually is. And so like you were saying about the PXE 80, so that tool, right, has kind of revolutionized the way that we do headlights around here, right?
Yeah.
We're able to rip through that stuff, and I think it's actually just the amount of power that tool has.
S140, this is a great little addition to the Pixie, and it's very simple, very easy. You've got a lot of these great interchangeable heads.
But this is an entire cord system, right? That connects to the rotary
I'm going to get a shot
function.
of all this stuff here. So you've got all these different interchangeable heads that come with it, and these are great for really tight crevices, little things that maybe you couldn't get a polisher in, like a normal standard
Door
1-inch pad.
Door handles.
Yeah,
Getting in between mirrors.
You can now slide it into those little nooks and crannies,
Yeah.
which is really, really cool. And the reason for that is because of this connector that attaches to the Pixie. So you can literally swap on these different heads just
Quick
by
disconnect,
pulling that quick disconnect down, just like a power drill.
Yeah.
Whenever you want to kick that bad boy on, we can show some people this sucker moving. But that's really cool. You know?
we all know that this is needed, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we've seen other attachments in the past, right, that worked as a function like this for rotary machines. It's just at this scale, right?
It's always been kind of
it's clunky. It's been
It's
clunky. It's
clunky,
clunky, right? But at this scale, at this size of a machine, being able to now have this attachment, especially with this type of pad, with these type of pads and the way that they're shaped, it makes this so much more versatile.
It's
and,
really, really
you finally
cool.
get into a lot of the nooks and crannies where you thought, man, it's a hand polish situation. It's going to have to be a hand polish situation. Now it can be a machine polish situation, which is really nice. So flicking that back on there, roll that throttle on.
Yeah.
And so we can go ahead and change the speed, same as we would normally do.
Right.
So we're at a speed setting of 1 right now. And you want me to crank it up?
Yeah, why don't we crank that up?
It's on
so
there
people
good,
can
right,
see.
Levi?
Well, it's on there really, really good. And what's nice is this is really balanced. That's what's so crazy, is this little head here, everything, all the way through this cord, you know, super balanced.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you
guys hear
now.
me?
Chris, we hear you.
All right, there we go.
From the ether.
Yeah. Chris,
So,
how's it going, man?
Perfect. So, see, we knew we could do a decent job, but not as good of a job as him. So, Chris, how are you? How's it going over there?
Hey, I'm good, guys. I'm sorry. I'm actually down in Mexico on my family spring break. So I wanted to obviously call in and be a part of your guys' show.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to be here. I heard everything you guys were talking about, and I really wanted to kick this segment off and let you know that this is Flex's 100th anniversary this year.
Holy smokes.
This marks 100 years for Flex.
Wow. Yeah.
We still are manufacturing a large portion of our products on our original factory floor in Steinheim, Germany.
Wow.
And the factory is proud of what they make. And what you guys are holding there, this is crazy to tell you, but the name Flex comes from the flexible shaft. That's the first thing that Flex invented 100 years ago that we're bringing back to the market.
No way.
We used to have a
I
Flex.
didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's a unique time in our company to launch that product.
Yeah.
Being a 100-year-old company, and everything you said about that shaft is correct. I've been playing with it for the last couple months, kind of testing it. I actually like, how the switch on the PXE80 has that rolling kind of rocker switch.
Yep.
And if you just push it up a little bit, it actually is almost variable speed. You can go really slow, and then you can roll it up over the edge. And since that's a rotary motion, we're probably only going to use that, I would say, on speed 1 or 2. I don't see people using it on speed 3 or 4 because it does have so much power behind that unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, could you turn your phone sideways? That way we got your
We
full
want to
screen
see more of you in that awesome background.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was going to say that's too beautiful back there not to see. And so so just like you were saying here, I was trying that for myself and just kind of slightly rolling on the throttle here.
We'll get a camera.
So we can get a camera over here, get Sebastian here because he likes going in for all the nooks and cranny details. So we slightly roll on that throttle just by pressing up, and you can see that we are at a very slow and steady speed. But what's crazy is how manageable this is.
Go back down so
right?
you can see there.
So I can hold this in one hand, polish in the other, be able to get through maybe sensitive areas, emblems and whatnot, and I'd feel completely confident in that. Just like Chris said, I probably wouldn't run this on a crazy high speed, just for safety concerns. But I mean, at this, I could Bob Ross anything, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'll tell you, last week I was at another event, and we were at Ohio Auto Supply, and we were doing a class, and we pulled this out, and there were in the Range Rover, and the Range Rover was hammered. It was someone turned it in, and just ran it through the daily car wash and things like that. But on the emblem, we were able to take that finger attachment that you have on there right now, and we were able to get in between all of the emblem. We also did the grill on the front of that Range Rover. Just areas that you wouldn't be able to hit with any normal tool. Yeah. The other comment that a lot of people have made about this shaft extension is, hey, there's other ones that are out on the market. I bought one off of eBay, for $100 or $200. What I would tell you is that Flex invented the shaft extension, and that, the bottom line, that is the best of the best. It will not stall. You'll rip the foam on the pad before you stall that shaft. I mean, it's gonna drive through whatever you're trying to make it, application you're trying to make it do.
Yeah.
And I think it does a great job.
Yeah, I don't doubt that one bit. I think this can be an extremely useful tool for really all those intricate areas. I mean, I can already think of the countless different things that I want to polish maybe on my own cars that I had to simply skip because I couldn't get anything in there, right? And so for emblems, this is going to be absolutely huge. Well, now, Chris, is there any idea on, so how much, I mean, ideally, what does this extra kit cost, and where would they go to pick it up?
Yeah.
So it's definitely an add-on kit.
Yeah.
And what I would show you is what you're looking at is a prototype. It will not come in that case. It won't come in that plastic case that's there. That's called an L box. Okay. We just don't sell those L boxes in North America. We actually have a new system that's coming out called the Stack Pack, and that's available. Information on that new style of Stack Pack. It's something that's coming out with our new 24-volt cordless line that we launched just recently.
Cool.
But that package will be available through our normal dealers. Okay. And it will range. I would estimate the full package will be $100.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not too
Don't
bad.
quote,
No.
don't quote me on that.
We won't,
but,
we won't
we won't.
coach you.
That's-
we won't hold you to
estimate.
it.
Just so people can start saving their change, right? They're
Yeah,
saving their
right?
pocket change for when that time comes,
Well,
right?
and I'll just say this.
Yeah.
I've used a lot of the flexible shaft tools in the past, and I have never felt one that's this smooth.
Very
because you're right. You buy the cheap one, or so-and-so had one on their truck, and they loan it to you, and you use it, and it's just not. They're never good. So I was always kind of hesitant, and said I'll just use my hand and my fingers or whatever to try and get those spots. But this, I'm really excited to play with and use, just because of how smooth this is. Normally you get a ton of vibration in this, or you get a little bit of motion in the cable, but this is non-existent.
It's wicked smooth, yeah.
It's crazy.
Chris, on these foam pads that are inside here, are these a prototype, or are these actually the finalized foam pads that would come with this product?
Those are a prototype. I do know that at Mobile Tech Expo, I was already in conversations with our friends here in the U.S. at Buff and Shine and Lake Country. So I'm sure that there are other things that are going to come out as accessory add-ons from these other great companies that are out there. Our initial kit that we're launching here in the U.S. will come with that package you see in front of you. So you'll get 2 of each of the shapes. Hard, medium, and soft. So you'll give you a good assortment, and then we'll have those pads also available. I will tell you that foam, anything with the Flex name on it, we do make sure that it meets a certain standard. So the foam pads that we do include with the initial kit, it's a good foam, and I think people will definitely see that.
Well, I agree with you, and I'm actually just kind of feeling here, and and again, if this was more of a prototype thing, or I don't know if this will change on the road, but I like that the bit on here, the bit that goes into the quick disconnect, is actually plastic, and so that makes me feel a lot safer when it comes to polishing.
I'm glad that you noticed that, because that was actually something when we first, this has actually been in prototype for about 2 years now. When we first launched the initial prototype, it did have your typical metal chuck on it, and some people made some comments, which R&D took back, and product management made that change to make it nylon. So if the foam does come off by accident, the nylon's not going to scratch the car as much as the metal would. So I think that's an important part.
I think that is extremely important. So Chris, the comments are kind of blowing up right now because everybody, right when we asked you the price, you cut out literally at the number. And so can we get it one more time, your ballpark estimate?
It's a ballpark estimate. Don't hold them to it.
I would say it's going to run you around $3 retail, and it's a great kit. It's going to come with everything.
No
It just
way.
happened again.
It cut
I swear.
again. I swear it cuts
The
out
internet
again.
doesn't want you to
every
say
time
it. I think it's
Three-
flex.
Three,
There you go.
bills. 3 bills.
Okay, 3 bills.
All right, there we
Three
go.
bills.
I think Flex back home was here, and they were like kept hitting a mute on him.
The guys
They
in
were like, don't
Germany.
say it. Don't say
the
it.
guys in Germany are like, hit it now, hit the button now.
Getting ready.
So it's too funny. But no, I think that's extremely affordable for what you're going to be able to do with the machine. Again, we've always told people that a machine can pay for itself within that very first detail, that very second detail, or even within the first week. And I think a lot of the accessories that go with it follow suit to that. And so exciting, man. Very, very exciting.
Well, and I like this because of the fact that now you're going to be able to get into wheels. You're actually going to be able to touch up some of those really delicate spots.
You get to the corner of a spoke where a spoke meets a lip.
Which we haven't been able to do.
Never. Yeah.
Like and have the power. Before you always had like just the ball on the wheel on your power drill, and you're kind of trying to get
even
stuff.
if you have one of the eBay ones where you have your massive rotary and you have your cable and this thing's jiggling around and it's not as smooth. This is so precise and smooth. I think that'll be much more comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really nice.
I actually like it. When I was detailing with it, I wrapped it I roped it just over the edge of my neck, and it even ran great just having it wrapped kind of not around your neck, but just around the back of your neck, and it kind of got it away from the car, and it worked really well. Something else about the PXE80, since we're talking about that great tool, another accessory which a lot know is available is a 2-inch backing plate. The 2-inch backing plate is now available.
Sweet. Well, that's going to be a really nice feature.
Yep.
To really get down farther and get those little tight spaces. But the Pixie is already, the PXE80 is already such a versatile tool to add to your arsenal, and I'm loving that you guys are building upon it and you're doing a lot more with it. It's so simple and so easy. I mean, you've got just such this quick change is probably the coolest little feature about it, and so it works to be able to just swap that in and out, put that away, put your pad on there, and get to work again.
Yep, agreed.
Super cool.
One of our good friends, Justin Lobato, must be watching, because he just chimed me and said it is honestly one of the smoothest shafts I've ever used. I mean, that sounds crazy, but
yeah,
you know,
that sounds great.
The bottom line, Justin is out there. He does have a prototype and has been testing it. I know Rennie's coming on later with you guys. He also has a prototype of this. There's very few of those. The one sitting on your table is a handful of tools worldwide as far as prototypes. So
we feel very blessed to have it.
We feel very special. I agreed. All right, so looks like people have questions, and so Chris, we have to start tackling these. So Dane, if you can start populating some of these, we can start knocking these out.
It's been a madhouse here in the comments. I've been trying to keep my straight face. Okay, so I'm going to pull up Sean, who has a real question. Sean here is saying, what is the durability of the pad through washes, and what is the expected maintenance of those pad attachments?
That's a good question.
So what I mean, you know, my comment, I mean, you guys may have something to add, but I would tell you that you do need to be careful with these pads. Obviously, there is a glue that's holding, the foam to the plastic or the nylon. So you have to be careful not to break that glue down. During my testing, I purposely tried to break one of those foam pads. I pushed as hard as I possibly could. And obviously, I stalled the foam, and the shaft didn't stop spinning. So I spun it out of the foam. But I would say just be careful with making sure you're using some sort of cleaner that isn't going to break the glue down.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Yeah, that's a great point.
No,
Dane,
that's
what else
great.
we have?
Half of my, I can't mention just because it's just laden with innuendo the whole way through, just a lot of talk about, the tool and all that, but it's great fun, and they're having a field day. But I gotta say, everybody's really actually excited about it. I did get one question here, probably want to clarify, because the Detailed Dude Scott here says that thing is pretty epic. $300 with the Pixie and the extension kit. I believe the extension kit is a $300.
Yeah,
so
the
that's the
extension-
part that I wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
The
extension
Pixie
kit
is a
300.
separate item. You buy the Pixie, you use the Pixie, and then this is an accessory that you add to the Pixie that'll be out later this year.
Yep.
And then the other questions mostly had to do with availability. People were wanting to know
there you go.
when they could expect to see it.
I mean, the bottom line, Dane, is that, a lot of people watching this already have the PXE80, and if you don't have it or haven't tried it, I would highly recommend you purchase one and give it a try to add to your arsenal. The FS 140 shaft extension, some people may be on here saying Chris already promised it this month. I was expecting to have it now, and we're looking at it being more around the July time frame now. Obviously, just with all of our constraints on shipping and things like that, we're trying to keep our regular items in stock right now, and this new item is a little bit delayed.
Okay, no, that's great to know. And as far as that win, I just wanted to throw that out there because, with future products, it's always a little up in the air as to when everything gets finalized and actually starts showing up in vendors' locations. Yep. I was going to say, actually, just looking at that actually looks like the perfect thing to clean my exhaust pipes on the Jag. I was just thinking,
Dane, don't you dirty our new toy with your dirty exhaust pipes.
If that's sitting around later, I may have to come and steal
thing
that.
on that.
Yeah, exactly.
It just threw a little.
If I catch you on your hands and knees cleaning out your pipes with this thing, I'm not going to be happy.
That's enough of that. So I think that's pretty much the extent of those because the rest of these are just having a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, like everybody loves the Pixie. I actually, even as someone who doesn't necessarily detail a lot, I use the Pixie to do the headlights on the BMW.
Yep.
And it might be my favorite, like, as far as the smaller tools go, it just has so much power for what it is. It's such a good tool.
Well, Dane, and again, you're not the best with a machine, so the fact that you're able to restore those headlights
I felt
with
confident using that thing. That's how good it was.
We were more than proud.
Yeah, Ricardo's right. Papa Chrome.
So, Chris, we're going to let you get back to your beautiful vacation.
Yeah, we don't want to take you away from
fantastic
that.
there, and we don't want to take you away from that, but we appreciate all of your time and all of your information you've been able to give us. Again, we hope you have a fantastic time. And if anybody has any questions, where can they reach you at?
You can always reach me on social media, but definitely check out our websites, flexpowertools.com. See some of our new items that we just launched recently out there. You can also visit our German website, which is flexstat.com. So there's 2 websites out there. And reach out to me on social media if you ever have questions or problems. I am very open and try and help everybody that I can. And we have so much to talk about. I think there'll be an up and coming Rag Company segment where I come out and sit down with you guys. We talk about some of the things like the Beast and the new XCE that's replacing the Beast and things like that. So stay tuned to the Rag Company for more of that coming up. And I really appreciate being on here. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Chris.
And, enjoy your vacation. We'll talk to you soon.
Go relax.
Yeah, that's awesome. Chris is such an awesome guy, man. And this is, we can't wait to put some more miles on this.
Yeah. So we were talking about pads for this.
Yeah.
And we've got Justin Lobato actually as our next segment for Buff and Shine. Who would have thought? Justin, what's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Good. Very good.
Well, welcome.
Can you hear me well? I know
we can hear you just fine, brother.
Yeah, we can hear you great. I'm going to go run to the next set, Justin, so you're going to take Levi, but have fun, all right?
There we go. All right.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Before we get started real quick, I wanted to talk about, just remind everybody about the challenge coins for PNS. The charity that they're benefiting is the Sambaru Project. Bob, when he was there this summer, when he was in Africa, met with the folks there and just really fell in love with their charity. And so make sure that you donate by buying a coin. And you can also go to the sambaruproject.org and learn a little bit more about what they do. They're creating clean drinking water and wells for folks over there in Africa. So pick up a PNS challenge coin. You need to do it. All right, Justin, tell us what do you got in store? What's happening? What's going on with Buff and Shine? What do you got over there?
Well, I mean, it's 2022, and we have some changes basically that we've done to some of our existing pad lineup. So some of you may be familiar with our Eurotech line, for example. It's been a very popular line, and that was something that we came to market with quite a few years back, and that was for all of your orbital polishers and for rotary as well, and it was a hit. And we did really great with that in regards to having our blue coarse foam, our maroon, our yellow, and our white finishing pad. So with that, we've actually discontinued 2 of those pads in that lineup and added an additional favorite to that. Oh. And I say favorite because we have this black foam, as you can see here, that is something that is vetted in regards to the Buff and Shine lineup that has been used. And this is something that is super versatile over the white foam that was our original finishing foam in the Eurotech lineup. And this is basically what has replaced that discontinued white foam. And the reason why is because we really, take pride in our pad performance. And with that, this actually offers a lot more versatility, our new black finishing foam over the white foam. And we were noticing too, with that white foam, in certain scenarios, certain regions, when oxygen would hit it, it would oxidize a bit and change colors. Obviously with the black foam, you don't have to worry about that. And then as far as the traditional coarse blue foam, that's something that we took out because we feel if you're going to need to get that aggressive, then you could go into some of our other lines that we offer, such as the Euro Wool and or the Euro Fiber, to get that level of cut that you're expecting from the Buff and Shine pad lineup. So that's one of the changes that we've done in regards to that Eurotech lineup. And of course, Eurotech, we still offer it in a 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1 to accommodate all the machines that are current on the market, whether it be, gear-driven, long throw, standard, or rotary. And then as far as anything else additional with the pads that we're offering, we do have a standard orbital foam pad lineup. Now, traditionally, this is something that we've had, and this is more of what I would say the budget-friendly, still quality foam, because as most of you know, if you're familiar with Buff and Shine, we've got great relationships worldwide with foam manufacturers for years, since 1987. So we've always been able to dabble in different levels of quality foam, but what this does is this takes home, you know, a quality foam, but yet for the end user that's looking for something that's a little bit more budget friendly. And what's really neat about that, because it's still a great performing foam. And in that category, we had 4 color foams, and we had only 2 sizes to that. We had a 6 and a 5-inch. Well, now we've added 2 additional foams to that. So in the total amount of colors and variances, we have 6 now. And not only do we offer it in a 6 and 5-inch size, but also a 3-inch size. And what that basically looks like is pretty much, if you could see here in front of me, I don't know how well the camera is, yeah. You could see we have this red final finishing pad. That's going to be the highest level of finish you're looking for, or if you want to put on your last standing product, of course, which would be your wax, your sealant, whatever it may be. Same thing with our white finishing pad. This is great for finishing or last standing product. And then, of course, yellow polishing pad. And then orange is what, the red and the orange are what we added to this lineup to go from 4 to 6 different color variations. But this orange, the cool thing I like about this is a heavy polishing pad. And this is something that is unique because of the type of foam structure that it is. They're all open cell, but that basically allows you to be able to capture where this yellow and this green, the green might have been too heavy and the yellow might not have been enough. That's where this orange comes in and kind of seals the gap on that. And then going into the green for the medium cut. And then, of course, this is where our coarse heavy blue transitioned over to from the Eurotech line into our standard orbital line. Now, with these pads, you can run them on standard orbital, gear driven, long throw, and a rotary. So whatever your preference is of being able to, you know, offer correction, however your methods are, that's what makes this so unique, is because it gives you 6 different paths to choose from to dial in the paint correction and, of course, the results that you're looking for, more budget friendly. Because if you are a production shop and you are burning through pads and you have employees, this is something that would allow you to be able to do that respectfully within budget, of course. Because we know that pads, they can get expensive. Am I right or am I wrong, Levi?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's one of those things that you don't think about. Especially when, you know, the key is also pad management. So many folks think, you know, we're just trying to sell you a bunch of pads that you don't need, but in reality, you need to know what pads you're using, and you need to use them properly, because if you're overcycling or you're heat cycling those pads the wrong way, you're going to damage that pad faster, and you're going to get a worse finish on the vehicle that you're doing. But if you're, you know, running them the right way and you're watching your control on how you're using your pads, that's really what saves you time and saves you money. And so being able to know exactly what pads you need for each job and having the right amount of pads, that's something to think about, because a lot of guys go, oh, I can't keep spending money on pads. No, you have to spend money on pads, because that is literally the one thing that you need to get that job, to get that finish. You know, you're not going to get it with the compound alone. You need to have the pad, and you need to have the tool for that. And so the pads are really the main workhorse, you know, similar to like a towel. You've got to have them. And if you're not buying the right things, you're really hurting yourself. So I like also that you guys have expanded that lineup, because it provides a solution to every type of problem that you're going to run into. All the paints are different.
And 100% agree, and I'm glad you touched on that, because that is something. There are so many similarities there between pads and towels, because I feel like those 2 categories people tend to cut corners and cost on.
Yep.
And it blows my mind on how and why, because it is an investment. But to the point of cycling through your pads, I mean, when somebody asks me, and even when they come in my retail storefront to purchase from me locally, they come up to the counter and they have 1 or 2 pads, and I ask them, I said, what are your intentions with that? Well, I plan on polishing the whole car. And I'm like, no, you really want to be able to get, on if let's just say they have a little 370Z, and I tell them, you really want to go about 4 to 6 pads. And they're like, well, I don't want to spend that much. And I say, well, if you cycle through them, these pads will get you multiple jobs. Now, I won't see you as often as I would like to sell you more pads, but I'm doing you a favor by saving you money and getting the best return on your investment, because now, as you cycle through the pads, you won't overheat them. You won't do all these things that are damaging to the foam structure, and that way you could actually enjoy the full use and potential of the pad to get your money's worth out of it. So you're right. We're not trying to sell more pads. Obviously, it's as a business, that's what we want to do, but we also want to lead by education, by making sure that you're being able to use the pads at whatever level to their full potential. And knowing how to use them and cycle through them, that's where it's at. But if you're spending big money in other places, you might want to reconsider, taking some of those funds and allocating them over to pads, and in your case, towels as well. But yes, pads especially, because that way, if you have them in your arsenal and you're cycling through them, you'll get more life out of them, and then it'll allow you to be able to get the most out of your correction or the job at hand that you're doing.
Yeah. And then I also see there, you got some clay, and we touched on this a couple years ago, but I don't think a lot of people realize, but Buff and Shine now has your clays as well for clay in vehicles.
Correct. Traditionally, we had a gray and a purple, but we wanted to come to market with something different, and obviously, we can't necessarily recreate the wheel. I mean, we all know clay is clay. Let's be honest here. However, we did go through the motion of a lot of R&D on clay, and I did that here in my active shop, and basically took a bunch of solo cups, looked like it was beer pong on some of these workbenches, and put all kinds of chemicals in them, and really pushed the envelope to see how these clays break down and different types of chemicals, because we know there's supposed to be clay lube and things of that nature to help with the process, but everybody has their own approach to how they clay.
Right.
So I wanted to push the envelope and use all these crazy chemical applications that most would in the entire market. And so with that, we were able to come to the market with these neon colors, so it is different. The packaging is definitely a lot sexier, but we broke it up too, where we offer 2 separate 100-gram bars. So that way you're able to basically take one bar, break it in half, knead it, and go about it as you will with decon. And that way, if anything happens to it, you've got the other half of this. And then it gives you a secondary one as well. So you get a lot of bang for the buck in regards to this package. But you also get, let me double check this one, you also get a little baggie for the infamous baggie test.
Yeah.
Of course, this is something that we owe it to Mike Phillips for coining the phrase for the baggie test. And this is something that you could give to your customers, or even somebody, in the shop, to intensify the sensitivity of your fingertips to go over and feel the contaminants right on site.
Right.
Or when you get done with the clay bar, you can put it back in here, wrap it up, and put it in the nice little Ziploc baggie that it comes with.
There you go.
We came out with... We tried to think it through. We tried to make it practical. And again, we're not reinventing the wheel. We just want to make it better. So we have a super durable clay, highly chemical resistant. As far as the colors go, they're very vibrant, so they stand out. So you're able to see the contaminants when they're actually in the clay. And then, of course, we have a fine to medium grade, which is our green, which I love, because I was trying to find a clay that didn't mar as much. And let's just face it. I don't care. I've seen it so many times where people said, I can clay something without marring. If you're creating friction on the surface, there is definitely some level of marring, whether it's human visual, or we're able to see it ourselves, or you break out something that magnifies the surface to identify that. Either way, there's some level of marring. So with that said, I wanted to try to find something that offered the least amount. And I discovered that with this neon green clay that's our fine to medium. Excuse me. And then we have our medium to aggressive. And I wanted to have something that really was able to remove some heavy contaminants, but yet still, again, minimize the marring. And that's where this one came into play. And this is what we use now. And we don't get a lot of overspray jobs or heavily contaminated vehicles, but when we do, this is our go-to, is the Reflective Clay line.
Sweet. Any other new items? Anything else that you guys are planning for the future? Stuff that's, the Reflection Artist Kit has been such a huge success. For those, that's one of the items we carry here at the Rag Company. But it's a really great sample pack too for folks who maybe want to start learning about the brand or not really sure the differences in the different types of pads. It's a really neat kit to be able to purchase. But what else do you got coming out? Tell me.
Well, as far as that, those are more or less the changes. I mean, we've definitely got quite a few ideas. I forgot, 2 different scenarios. Like one, for example, back in November, I was in California, Compton, where the manufacturing facility is, and we all sat around and masterminded on a lot of great ideas that we're going to be launching going towards SEMA. I can't really speak on those things right now, but we definitely got some really neat things ready to rock and roll for 2022 SEMA. And then best of all, Rich himself happened to be in town at a convention, and we did lunch today. So we talked about a lot of really neat stuff, and he was here at the shop. So that's something that I'm really proud of, because it's one of those things where, not a lot of manufacturers, the owners, I should say, of the companies go and visit, their consultants and or their sales reps in their hometown, at their shop, at their office. And if you do, but he really, basically drove from Miami up here so we could talk pads and business. And that's why we refer to him as the pad father, because this guy lives, sleeps innovation in regards to the pad industry, not just for the end users, but for the entirety of the industry on a bigger picture, of course.
No, that's awesome. And that's super exciting, because it's always fun. Most people don't think about the innovation that goes into pads, but you and I both know when that Rupes first came out, the first long throw polishers came out, it was eating pads. It was eating pads, and the number of years of innovation that had to come out. And I remember doing, I did some beta testing for Buff and Shine back then, and it was pretty wild. It was pretty wild to see the stuff that, Julio and Richard would send me to try and play with and see if I could get to break. And it's nice to see the amount of innovations that really changed the game in the last 10 years. And then on top of that, the continuation, everything's changing. We're still finding different ways, and like we just talked about on the last session with Flex, this is a whole different type of pad that is going to be needed for that FX, for the little extension for the Pixie.
Yeah.
It's a whole other level in development, and that's, I think, is probably the coolest thing about our industry, is it's continually changing as new and great items come out. So this is super.
And kudos to Flex too, because they knocked it out the park with that extension kit. Yeah. That was something that was much needed, because I feel the other pre-existing ones that are on the market, they just didn't hold up as well.
Yeah.
And nowhere near as what Flex came to the market with their invention and their extension, because the way that actual piece holds and the way that everything is set up on there, especially set up on the Pixie, I mean, you could hang the Pixie off your hip, with totally. A detailed helper belt.
Yep.
And then, of course, just go to town. And like he had mentioned, all those tight areas that most detailers have to get into by hand or find other innovative ways, this gives you a direction to be able to get it done and out of the way.
It's awesome. Dane, what kind of questions do we got for Justin?
Yeah, sure. I've got a few here. Let me go ahead and pull them up. I've got Mitzi Beaver asking, will the clay be available in the UK market? So this is overseas, but what do you have to say to that, Justin?
To be honest with you, I'm super familiar with our North American market. So that's something, if you email info@buffandshine.com, somebody will be able to immediately get back with you and answer that question. And if there is availability, they'll also be able to direct you to a distributor that's hopefully local or nearby for shipping.
Okay,
Perfect.
Great. And I've got Cynthia here asking, which Buff and Shine pads are available in 1 inch?
As far as the 1 inch pad lineup is going to be our Eurotech line of pads, and that's going to give you basically the maroon here, and this is a 5, but just to kind of give this as an example, in the Eurotech line, this is going to be our most aggressive, and then you're going to be able to get this in a 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1. So to answer your question, yes, 1 inch here for Eurotech, and then going down to the blue pad, or also known as the blueberry, that is offered in a 1 inch. Our yellow polishing is offered in a 1 inch. And then our black foam finishing pad is offered in a 1 inch. And then if you dive into our Euro fiber line, the original salt and pepper pad, or cookies and cream is what people have coined it as. That one goes down to a 1 inch as well for a fiber-based pad.
Great. And Mitzi says thanks. And then I've got here Hans asking, will there be a clay disc coming?
You know, it's one of those things that, you know, with the clay disc, there's really not a whole lot of innovation left for that. I mean, you've got the towels, you've got the disc, you've got the mitts. I mean, I've even seen gloves where people have taken, excuse me, somebody's closing the door. People have taken gardening gloves and put the polymer on the gardening glove, which was really cool and unique. But then you have to make sure you have the right size glove because not everybody's hands are the same size. Yeah. But for us, excuse me, that's not anything that's really on the radar at the moment because there's so much really neat stuff already out there. How much more can we change in that category, right?
Sure. Yeah. And then I've got Jimmy Moto saying Buff and Shine small pad kits would be killer.
Oh,
just
like
throwing
a
an
small
idea
reflection
out there.
artist kit,
That's a good idea, but we do leave it open-ended because we do know that detailers have their select pads that they enjoy using in their arsenal, often, you know, where they find certain colors. That way they offer and deliver different levels of finishes. So for that reason, that's why we kept it open-ended to offer quite a few different options so you could collect those and be able to have them in your arsenal. So it makes sense that way. You know, when I was, you know, with detailing and having an active shop and still being an active detailer, just like those watching, it's one of those things where if I ever ended up getting some of those, yeah, having a little 4-pack or something like that was nice. But that's where, like, when we sell our packs, we sell them in a 6-pack for our 1 inch. And then like our 2 inch, we sell in a 4-pack. And then our 3 inch, we sell in a 2-pack. So you get enough of what you need in regards to that packaging. So it's one of those things, just collect them as you need them, and of course keep them in your arsenal. And us just being in your arsenal is a win because, you know, quality pads, quality work, quality results.
Of course. And then I've got Life of Brian here saying, which Buff and Shine pads would be best for soft Subaru paint, which we all know is a finicky thing.
Yeah, no, and there's a whole category for soft paints, right? You've got your Subaru, your Porsche, your Tesla, all your Japanese vehicles. The list goes on. However, personally, what I find between finishing out, depending upon what liquid polish you're using, would be between two. It would be between the yellow pad, which is going to be a little bit more aggressive, and or the black foam finishing pad. And this one's super versatile because this is where you could get into your super fine polishes and really get the results you're looking for on those finicky paints and those hard to work with paints, whether it be the Subaru paint or even the notorious GM black. That's where I find where this pad excels. And this one too in some cases. Again, it's all going to be a matter of what machine you're using, whether it be, you know, a gear driven, standard, or long throw. That's going to give you your variables on finishing and of course your liquid as well on the type of polish you're using. Not necessarily the manufacturer, but what the recipe of that polish is to help have harmony with this pad as an abrasive and that liquid abrasive working together to give you the finish you're looking for.
Great. And then I've got Ryan here as our last question. It's a little bit oversized there, but I'll go ahead and read it to you. Saying, is it possible to apply a spray-on ceramic coating with the final finishing pad? Any advantages to applying that way instead of just spray and wipe?
I don't know. Try it. It sounds like it would work. I mean, here, listen, I mean, traditionally there are some really neat methods that have been exercised in the market, right? So it's not necessarily a wrong way, but if you find that it actually works and it doesn't leave a footprint behind or an imprint from the pad or any kind of marring, then run it. You know, if it works and it holds up within the longevity term of what the product has to offer, then you're not doing anything wrong. You've actually just been innovative yourself and found a new way of application to make yourself more efficient. So if it works for you, absolutely. And if you were going to do that, what pad I would recommend for that would either be in our standard orbital foam pads, the white one, and or the black finishing pad. Between these two pads, you really won't worry about marring the paint. So if you want to spray it on and use a traditional orbital just to kind of skim the surface to get the product on nice and even with the agitation of the orbit, go for it if it works for you. I don't think you're going to harm anything, but of course do a test spot on the panel to make sure you don't, so you don't come back to the whole vehicle and be like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Justin. We appreciate you being a part of this and answering all those questions. How do people find you and ask you more questions? And then, do you got anything else to plug?
Well, I mean, as far as information goes, you could always visit buffandshine.com, or you could, email us at info@buffandshine.com for any questions you may have. Again, we're a direct to distributor, being we're a manufacturer. So if you're looking for your most, a local distributor, we do have a drop down tab that will help with that on our website, or just emailing us. And then for myself, you can find me on all sorts of social media handles. I go by first and last name, Justin Lobato. Even our Reflection Artists social media, you can message us there. And of course, I'm always one that's available to help as best I can with answering questions about pads and detailing in general to make sure that just people are set up to be more successful with their arsenal, especially when it comes to some of the best buffing pads in the U.S.
There you go. And make sure you listen to Justin's podcast, The Reflection Artist.
There it is.
That's one of the big ones. You gotta tune in and listen. It's tons of great information, tons of great detail.
Reflection Artist Live.
There you go.
We were doing it every Wednesday, but we've got a lot of travel and a lot of things in motion right now. So for that reason, we're still plugging away at Wednesdays, but we just might step back a little bit and do 1 or 2 Wednesdays a month versus every Wednesday a month. And we've had you on, Levi. You were a great guest. And we've had a lot of great leaders, manufacturers, owners, you name it. It's just been and operators at that. So I mean, we've hit the whole spectrum. Just good information for those to pick up on, especially if whether you're new to detailing or well seasoned. There's always something in that content that we put out there in that podcast that could be helpful.
Well, there we go. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Dane, what's next?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you, Justin. And so it's been a busy afternoon, but it's about to get a little bit crazy over at the PNS stations, which have taken over the entire studio, as a matter of fact. It's crazy out there. This is madness, chaos. Let's go see what's going on.
All right, guys. So we are taking this very special presentation from PNS off-road. Based on what's behind me here, it looks like we're going to be getting our hands dirty because joining me today is Kyle Clark of PNS for the launch of PNS Off-Road. There we go. We got the mic back on. You guys can hear me now. So, yes, this is the launch of PNS Off-Road. We're taking it off-road. We're going off-road. Kyle,
dude, I'm excited.
Are you excited? I'm pumped.
This has been a journey.
This has been a journey.
Finally, we're here.
Yeah.
In your studio.
Yep.
We started this over a year ago.
Yep.
Or last year. And PNS is going off-road. And I'm excited to be the one chosen to work with you today because I'm into off-roading.
You are very much into off-roading.
I love these things.
You live this lifestyle.
Yes, so much. They're wonderful. I have my eye on this Pro R right here. So
I think we all do.
Yeah, gosh, man. Well, Anthony, I've been really into off-roading since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And being a detailer, using all of the PNS product line, I was just super excited that we decided, okay, we're going to make something specific for the industry that I love.
Yeah,
so this is going to be great.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't be more happy because this is something that I feel like was really needed, right? With off-road getting more and more popular, with all these cool, crazy toys being invented every single year, and they just seem to keep upping the ante, and they're getting crazier, they're getting faster, and they are just getting more and more aggressive. I mean, especially this Pro R here. It seems like more and more people are buying them. It's getting more popular. But the thing is, with the cooler stuff that comes out, the price goes up, right? And so maintaining these things is extremely important. So having detailing products that are going to be able to, maintain your investment, right? Keep it going, keep it looking somewhat good, right? When it's not covered in mud. I feel like that's extremely important. I feel like that this is a huge market that has yet to really be tackled, and I think PNS is up for the job, especially having you on board with all of your background. And so in front of us here is the PNS off-road line with all the special branding, and as you guys can see, We got the pretty cool shirts on right now. I mean, pretty cool.
Giant billboard
The
for this.
extremely cool shirts on with, of course, a lot of eye candy in the back. So today we're going to be going over the entire line, right? Breaking down each one of the products, and then we're going to actually be showing you a demo of each product, kind of showing you how you would utilize that within your detailing regimen. And so this line, Kyle, is it for detailers? Is it for consumers? Is it for people that enjoy going out on the weekend? Is it for everybody?
It's for everybody.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure detailers are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
They're going to find the fragrances, the smells, and the names are fun. We'll talk about the
Very
names.
fun.
I'm super excited about those. But as P&S is a manufacturer right here in the United States, that's why we added that on, because we're proud of that. We make our products.
Yeah.
Actually, these were all, just shipped here. They were bottled last week.
Yep.
And we're ready to roll.
Yep.
So I think the enthusiasts are going to enjoy it, because, there's guys out there that love to wipe down their stuff and clean them. And then the detailers take care of them too.
Yep, exactly.
So when you have a line that you're telling your customer, hey, I use a product that is designed specifically for your UTV, your Jeep, your dirt bike, your snow machine.
Yep.
Then, it gives people a little peace of mind. We've tested them, played with them. We know it's going to work on these surfaces.
Yep.
And these aren't cheap surfaces anymore.
No, they're not. Like, that's what I was saying.
They're not cheap.
It keeps getting crazier and crazier, and with that, the price keeps going up and up. And so when somebody told me the cost of this Pro R here, my knees got weak a little bit, because I said, oh my gosh, and I'm sure you can get the fun squeezed out of that, right? But at the same time, I mean, that's a large investment to get into something like this.
Yeah, but you know what? The other day, I cleaned my daughter's little Suzuki LT50 with this line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, little fun, cheap toys.
Yep.
We have KTM dirt bike here. There's so many aspects to off-roading.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the sand, which is my favorite. I love going to the dunes. I love going to the dirt, playing in the silt. You have the mud. You have the snow, rock crawling. Off-roading takes you to places that you want to enjoy and be with your family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I get this passion, because I started when I was a kid.
Yep.
And I enjoy teaching my kids how to off-road.
Yep.
And I enjoy showing them how to clean their stuff, because
Heck yeah.
I would say getting dirty is only half the fun.
Yes.
We got to get it clean.
Yep. You gotta get it clean.
So what I want to do is we're going to go through the line, like you said, and then we'll do some demonstrations. Today's a demo, so it's not exactly how it would detail off-road vehicle, but we want to show you some fun things.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead, and we're going to start down on this end. We're going to go talk about our wide open all-terrain wash.
Okay.
So this soap, as you can see, we have it in a gallon, and we have it here in our quart. And I also have it already diluted
for the foam cannon.
10-to-1 in a foam cannon, ready to go, because we're going to foam this at the end.
Oh man, okay.
We're going to foam it at the end before we say, hi to some of our other friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a little bit about wide open all-terrain wash. Good general purpose soap, has a little bit of we'll say protection in it.
Okay.
It'll help keep your ride nice. Give the lubricity we want to lift the dirt.
Yep.
Don't scratch it all up.
Yep.
Even though it's probably already scratched because you were out enjoying it anyways.
Well, depends on what people are riding through, right?
True.
Depends. Yeah.
There's some off-road vehicles out there that are, barely seeing any dust.
Yeah, that are still minty fresh, right?
Yeah.
That would be probably one of mine, right? People are like, just drive through the brush. I said, no, I'll go the other way. I'll find the brushless way, the way that I won't get scratched up. That would be me.
I used to be that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now it's just more fun.
Okay.
I mean, we can fix those things later. We got to get them clean.
Okay. Yeah. Exactly. So, so this is one of those things where it's not going to remove your scratches and make them disappear, but like you said, it's got some protective features to it, right? And so the biggest thing that I noticed, especially on the label, is going to be the rust inhibiting formula, right?
Yeah. That's one thing that we wanted to make sure, and what that means is just protect those raw materials that could rust.
And could and will rust, right?
Will.
Depending on where you're taking these things. And so, and this applies to, again, right, not just UTVs, not just dirt bikes. This is also for your Jeeps, right? This is for any off-road vehicle. It's of course going to be paint safe, but we were really, you guys are really cognizant of knowing what happens not just on top, right, on the outer surfaces, but what's going on underneath, right?
Yeah, you could definitely foam cannon the undercarriage of any of your, any of these rigs, on a quad, on the dirt bike. You know, it's safe enough to clean all those surfaces.
Well, and it just, look how much is exposed, right? So when you're looking at a side profile of something like a UTV, seeing that long travel suspension, right? Seeing the entire side of an engine sticking out of it, right? You have a lot of exposed things, right? Every nut and bolt, right?
Yeah.
And those are surfaces that could potentially rust. And so having something with rust inhibitors is going to be more ideal.
And these things have a lot of power. And they throw a lot of sand and dirt.
Yeah.
Which means they're going to chip paint. They're going to chip all the powder coating on the A-arms and the shocks. And so you're going to have exposed metal, no matter what you do. So, and that's why we decided to go with that.
Yeah, I know. I think that's a fantastic idea, and having a little bit of cleaning power and a lot of lubricity to be able to lift and provide a safe gliding surface for a mitt. And so this is what makes it different than just a standard soap, right? It was designed for this reason, but it's something that can safely be used on paint, vinyl, decals, and everything else like that. And so
and let's touch on the name, Wide Open.
Yeah.
So there's so many meanings behind that name within the off-road industry. So with Wide Open, that's either your foot's all the way down on the gas, wide open spaces, going and camping or just, having fun. So we thought Wide Open fit this line really well.
Yeah.
And that's why we chose it for that product.
Well, I think all the names you guys did
it was fun.
Pretty dang good job
I'm
with,
proud
man.
of them. I really am.
I love everything, and I love the colors. And I think that this is a very aesthetically pleasing line, and I think it's easy to understand, and that's a big thing too, because not everybody that's going to be into off-road is going to be a pro detailer. Not everybody is going to be somebody that's into detailing, but being able to have products that they can know, okay, hey, that's what I use that for. It makes it simple, it makes it fun, but not just that, it's also very effective. And so, I'm excited.
Well, so if you're out off-roading all day, right, and you want to stop and make a pit stop, you're going to need a quick detailer.
A pit stop. I see what you've done there. I see what you've done there.
So
Very
pit stop,
clever.
Quick detailer.
You got me.
It's a quick detailer.
Yeah.
But you know what? I go to the sand dunes with my family, and I want to wipe down my side-by-side, and I want to just lift the silt. Silt is that fine dust, fine sand, and wipe it off. I can't wash it out there, right?
Yeah, okay.
So this is our way of doing our light cleaning the sides, the plastics, the headlights.
Okay.
I have a plexiglass windscreen.
Yeah.
So, we want to make sure we can wipe all those surfaces down and lift it.
Absolutely. And so this quick detailer, right, it's different than any other quick detailer that you guys have made, because it has a little bit more of an emphasis on being able to clean, right, because it's noticing the fact that these are off-road vehicles and they are going to be making pit stops, right?
Yeah.
And so it's going to have more cleaning power than your typical standard quick detailer, which I thought that was a really cool addition to the product itself, but also a unique color, unique scent. And one thing I wanted to point out too is that, again, being safe on painted surfaces, including your normal vehicles that you would drive, like AKA a Jeep, right? I think it's kind of exciting because you can take this with you, and maybe you can call me a poser. I don't care, right? I don't care. If I were to take, let's just say I have a Jeep or I have a 4Runner, right? And I want to go take it off-roading the day that I do, right? The day that I talk myself into it, and I get somewhere and I have a beautiful backdrop. I'm talking beautiful, but I have bug guts all over the front of my vehicle, and I'm like, wow, it's a little bit too much, right? Or it looks like it's kind of taken away from the photo, right? I can touch that up using pit stop. I can clean that up on the way. Or something else would be if there's something that I know is going to etch, right? I've parked underneath some sap, or I've parked underneath a tree, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a pain to remove if I don't remove it now. This is where it comes into play.
Perfect. Exactly what the idea was. And this community, the off-road community, they take pride in their rides, right? Look at this thing.
They do.
That reflective wrap on there.
Yeah.
When you're out making that dirty, you want to see, you want to show people.
Yeah.
You want to show the logo on the side.
Absolutely.
My side-by-side has an American flag and reflective vinyl on it. I want people to see the reflective vinyl. That's why I did it. It's kind of, I paid the money for it.
That is true. That is
you want
very
to show
true.
it off.
That is very, very true. You don't really think about that too often, but that was the whole point of it in the first place. And so one thing I want to point out too is that when, during our Grand Ambassador program, right, that we have here at the Rag Company, we have seen a lot of Jeep enthusiasts, right? A lot of off-road enthusiasts that have become more involved within the detailing community, or kind of become more aware of maintaining their rides. And so thanks to a couple of our Grand Ambassadors who have really kind of paved the way, right? They've really, or unpaved the way? How can I say that, right? They've laid down some gravel for us to really gain some traction and shift gears.
Yeah.
Okay, too many dad jokes in one segment. So, but they did such a good job, and so we have a lot of these fans of Jeeps and off-roading that go to Moab. They go to all these amazing places, and really, these pictures they're taking are incredible, right? But what stands out to me the most is really it's not sometimes the dirtiest of the Jeeps or the dirtiest of the off-road vehicles, but it's the one where I can tell, hey, that's a person that's maintained their paint. That's a person that knows what they're doing. And I'm like, it really just adds to the effect of having that great backdrop. And so I know some people love when things are dirty, but I'm a guy that loves when things are clean. So I think you get the best of both worlds depending on what you want to do. So I think it makes perfect sense.
And you know, in this community too, people upgrade. They start little, they get bigger.
You're telling me that they might start little and they might get bored of it or they might outgrow it and then they say, I need to spend a little bit more money?
I've done it. I mean, I had a Razor that was an 800 and I got a turbo and now I want this thing. But my point is, I'm going to sell those things over time.
Okay.
You got to keep them clean.
Yeah.
You want to maintain them.
Maintain resale value too.
Yeah, your resale value, because they hold their value and you need all the money you can out of this thing.
Yep.
So I can buy this thing.
Exactly.
And you can move up. And you know, some of these off-road rigs we're talking about aren't just Jeeps or these, we're talking sand rails. Then sand rails can be $500,000.
Oh my gosh, this sounds like a very expensive
there's a very common
hobby
sand
to get
rails
into.
that are, you know, at least $100,000.
Oh goodness, okay.
And so we're talking some show cars out there hitting the dunes.
Yeah.
And you want to wipe them down, you want them to look good.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this is going to have a little bit of, it's actually not, it's going to have a little bit, it's going to have a lot of UV protection inside there. It's going to have some UV inhibitors. It's something that has a good slick feel on all smooth surfaces, but can be applied to virtually anything and everything, whether it's the inside of a Jeep, the outside of a Jeep, the inside of a Razor, the outside of a Razor, the everywhere on a dirt bike, like literally
You're not going to hurt
anywhere.
anything by putting it anywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, cleaning off your gauge cluster, you know, your Plexi Lexan windscreen, your glass windscreen.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many surfaces it will work well on.
I think that you brought up a good point with the whole, with the cluster, right? So on most clusters, that surface scratches by looking at it, right? And
they all will scratch.
They all will scratch, right? So what happens when you go off-roading, right? They collect everything, right? And typically, you're off-roading, you go with your hand or your glove.
I was just saying the same thing.
They go like that and they wipe, and I say, oh, what have you done? You've done the wrong thing, right? So if I had this, and let's just say I had a microfiber towel with me, I would just douse it. I would douse it, clean it off, and you're going to do so much less damage. And I see guys on motorcycles do all the time, right? Because this is something that's safe on not only dirt bikes, but it's also safe on street bikes. It makes me cringe when I see guys at the gas station. They go, the gauge cluster is dirty. They take the side of their glove, they rub on their gauge cluster, and I say, do you know how much a pain it is to polish that out? Do you know that might not come out like that? Oh, it's fine. I'm like, it's not fine until direct sunlight hits it and you can't see how fast you're going. Right?
Yeah. Well, and you want to be visible, and you want to be able to see things. So you have mirrors, you have LED lights, you have whip lights, you have light bars.
These accessories are not cheap,
You got to clean them off,
yeah.
because not only do you want to see where you're going, you want to be seen too.
Yep.
For safety.
Exactly, and I know there's a lot of people too that will park there, especially when it comes to the combination of using maybe wide open and pit stop. They go off-roading, right, and they might do a spray down, right? They might pressure wash it, they might rinse it, but then they kind of park it in the garage and it'll collect dust over time, right? And it'll just kind of sit there. And what happens, you brush up against it, it gets really dirty. I would much rather have something that I can use to touch things up that are sitting in the garage for longer periods of time rather than sit there with the dust, because let's be honest, everything looks better in the garage when it's cleaned up, right? So
exactly.
That's my opinion. That's just me, but I'm also crazy, right? You guys know that I'm crazy, and that's just what it is. So anyway, I want to move on to the full send.
Yeah, we'll go to full send. Last thing, you can take the pint with you. You can take the pint with you. You can take the pint.
Oh, I can take the pints with me right now. You're saying me?
No. You can put them in the side by side.
Oh, I thought you were saying I can take them.
With you out on the trail, man.
Yeah,
and have fun with them.
You have plenty of storage inside these things to be able to fit them in certain areas and be able to, or even in the door car, or even the side of the doors, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I have a case in the back of mine that we keep all of our stuff in, and so my point is, we have them available in pints, and then we also have our bottles, because they're bottle fill off of our gallons.
Yeah. Okay.
And these things have a lot of power. and everybody wants to go big. And when you go big, we call it full send.
Okay, all right.
Full send is our dressing.
Yeah. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. I love it.
It's the total dressing.
Send it, man. Yeah.
I mean, it means you jumped it. You
jumped it
pedaled
too
the
far.
metal,
You pedaled the metal too far.
and
Yeah.
hopefully you landed it.
Hopefully, yeah, and hopefully you make it back in one piece and you can load that thing on the trailer home. Right.
This is by far my favorite name.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just I love it so much. And so full send is a ready-to-use dressing that can be used on all the plastics, all the tires, the trim.
Yep.
It can work on the powder coating. It can work pretty much everywhere except for, the glass.
Don't
the
put on
gauge
the steering
cluster.
wheel.
Don't put on the steering wheel. Don't put on the foot pedals.
Okay. That's easy.
All those other places, you can spray it. You can let it self-level.
Yep.
You can blend it in. We'll do that a little bit later with our applicator, the little pearl applicator we have there. And it's going to be great for all those surfaces. Like I told you about my daughter's little quad the other day.
Yeah.
I soaked it in full send.
Okay.
And then I wiped it all down, a couple hours later.
Yeah.
Put it up online. I'm going to sell it. So.
Okay. And then she gets an upgrade.
And then, she already got her upgrade.
Oh, she already got her upgrade.
She went to a bigger quad.
Okay. Right on.
Big girls.
Heck yeah. So on this right here, this on full send, because I was talking to the guys about this in the back, and I was like, okay, so that makes the most sense because depending on how you're storing this, right, or how the interior is very exposed on these vehicles, right? I mean, it's very, very exposed, and the fact that you can use this on both the interior and exterior to keep things UV protected, to keep things moisturized, and keep them from drying out, because these plastics can get brittle, right? Because when the temperatures are going out, they can get pretty hot.
Drying out is probably the biggest problem with these particular plastics on the fender flares, the mud flaps. All those areas, they're going to dry out. Silt will suck the moisture right out of anything.
I did not know that. Okay.
I mean, it's just not good for it.
Yeah.
And so that'll rehydrate the surface, give it a nice shine, let it absorb in. If you want to buff it down and give it a very natural look, you can, or just leave it and it'll have a little bit more of a gloss to it.
Yeah. Okay. And so I was going to ask too as well. So with this, you said you could apply it on the control arms. Is this something that you're going to be able to hit the tires with as well? If you want to dress the tires to keep them looking nice, right? But you can do that. But I was thinking to myself, because earlier we had the segment with Solution Finish. We had Chris West, right, who restored some trim on this RZR over here. Now, essentially, if you keep up on a dressing, you keep up on the UV protection, you won't have to restore that trim for hopefully a long, long time.
Yeah.
Right? Or maybe not even in your ownership, right? If you maintain it and you keep up on it.
Yeah, I mean that's another great product out there. And so, but it's the repairing product, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a repairing product. I'm thinking if this is a maintenance product, and that's already our go-to repairing product, right? You can repair and then maintain, or you
totally could do that.
You can repair, hit it with some over the top, then maintain it with this if you want to do that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so it'll be great for all those surfaces. And say you're going to the off-road show, there you go. We'll just shine them up, make them look pretty.
Heck yeah, man. And so interior, exterior, pretty much everything rubber, everything plastic. You can brush it on, you can spray it on, let it sit, knock it down.
It'll work great on the vinyl seats.
Oh, really?
Fine on leather.
Yeah. Okay. Fine on leather too?
Yeah, put it on the leather.
Oh, heck yeah,
buff it
man.
down.
Okay. So
if you're sliding, but that's what those 5-point harnesses are for.
Yes. It just makes the ride a little bit more exhilarating.
Exactly.
Right? So again, a dressing that can be used on Jeeps. It can be used on UTVs, ATVs, dirt bikes. The only thing,
don't put it on the seat.
Don't put it on the seat. I was just about to say that. Don't put it on the seat, and don't put it on the tread, especially if you're going to go rip around your neighborhood really quick on the concrete, because you will definitely be in for a big surprise. So very cool. And what's it smell like?
It is a orange creamsicle.
Oh, sold. Done. Take it. Sounds awesome.
I'm very happy with this smell. I'm
so
very happy.
What I'm going to do, so for me personally, right, so on my street bikes, I don't have a dirt bike yet, right, but maybe I can convince my wife
It'll work well
later today. So on a street bike, right, in the areas that I would hit this on would be anywhere that had maybe black powder coat that's been faded far too long, anything that's textured, that it's not a major grip point, or anything that requires my legs or anything to grip. But I think what I would like to do is probably spray this on like the clamshell. So a clamshell is where basically you have your switches, right, on your handlebars, right? I don't want it on my grips, but those switches fade out especially during long days of sitting out in the sunlight of 90-degree days, right? They fade, the black fade. So this is something that I would probably brush onto those clamshells, let sit, let absorb, moisturize, knock it down and wipe it off.
Take a microfiber towel, put it on your grip, give it a quick mist.
Yeah.
Protect the grip.
Protect the grip, yeah,
and you're good to go.
Down. Yeah, heck yeah, man.
Soak in and absorb. And that kind of leads us to cleaning vinyl seats, cleaning on a dirt bike, on side-by-sides, and cleaning the interior. And if you're a racer, which these guys take these out on Baja,
yeah,
it's called the Cockpit. And so we have our Cockpit interior cleaner.
Okay, all right.
And so that is, and this has a wonderful smell. I do really like this smell as well.
Okay.
We don't really have fragrances in all of them just yet.
Okay, okay.
But man, these three, they're winners so far with me.
Okay.
This would be great on your seats of your snow machine, inside your Jeep.
Yeah.
All the off-road vehicles, all those types of materials that we want to clean, but be a little bit more gentle on.
Yeah.
Not quite going a heavy degreaser or a heavy all-purpose cleaner.
Okay.
But it'll leave a nice, light, fresh, clean look.
Yeah, and I think so, because I was asking you guys previously, I said, okay, so you have this, or you have, Express, which is part of the normal PNS line as an interior cleaner, and so the Cockpit has a little bit more cleaning power based off the dirt, right? Based off of everything that you're gonna see from off-road, because that was my biggest question. I'm like, well, why wouldn't I just use more of that? And you guys explained that the concentration of this is actually more, and that it's able to do a better job of the dirt breakdown, right? And the way that it kind of, right when it hits it, it already starts breaking it down, emulsifying it, allowing for an easier removal with a towel, because inside of a razor, right, you have a lot of a dirt accumulation that happens in the footwells, right? And so when that hit lands in the footwells, what do? You spray it out, you can rinse it out, you can pressure wash that out, but in case it's the point where it's like, it's not that much to where I need to take out a hose, but I want to be able to douse that down and safely remove it with a towel without scratching anything, that's where something like Cockpit comes into play.
Would spray it, you could use your Detail Factory brush.
To agitate it, lift it.
It's in those tight cracks and crevices. This is perfect to work on the pedals, gas in the brake pedal, or clutch on some vehicles, and just get them clean. And not make them slippery, but also make them look naturally and clean, and wipe them off with your microfiber towel, and just keep it going.
And so what I was noticing, right? So we have a couple different off-road vehicles right behind us, right? So we have the Land Cruiser, we have the Razor, we have this Razor. So the difference between this new Razor that we have back over here, this 1000, in comparison to this Turbo Razor right here from the Sticker Mafia. So the Turbo Razor, in direct sunlight, right when sunlight hits it, every body crevice on the interior, right, you can see like every bit of buildup, right? And I'm like, oh, right, there's been a lot of stuff that's just kind of piled into that, which is absolutely normal, right? It's been used, right?
Yeah.
Whereas something on the new one, I said, okay, so this obviously it's spotless, and it's spot free. But something like this is what I would use along with a brush to really kind of clean out those areas in between the gaps and stuff, because otherwise you're gonna have to pressure wash those things if you want to do that, and then it's just gonna find its way somewhere else inside the vehicle.
And it's a ready to use formula. You can dilute it. it comes in a gallon, and you can buy a bottle and fill your gallon. But you can dilute it 1-to-1 if you'd like, if you want some lighter cleaning.
Okay.
But other than that, they're all ready to use.
Okay, very cool. All right, so interior, basically interior everything for this particular product, I'm excited for that. Absolutely.
So for the heavier cleaning, we need to bust the mud and use Mud Buster.
The name,
Mud Buster. PNS, we have our busters.
I know, you have all the busters, man.
We got the iron. Now we got the Mud Buster.
Okay.
And this is a all-around cleaner. Okay. And so we didn't want to call it all-purpose, because we want to be able to use it on all these types of surfaces. All around these UTVs, whatever
ATVs,
we're doing.
cars, fender wells, everything. Yeah.
It's a heavier cleaner.
Okay.
It's for the suspension, the shocks, the A-arms, the upper control arms, the undercarriage, the plastic rockers. I would use it around the gas tank. You leak. You get dirt there. You want to break down the fuel that leaked down the side of your your side by side. Those are the places that we're going to use it, tires and wheels. And so this is going to be our heavier cleaner.
So I was thinking about this the other day too, because we had, when we had Carl's, they were dropping something off, and we were just kind of cleaning up one of the UTVs that they had there in preparation of a sale. beadlock wheels, man. The gift that never stops giving, right? You think you've gotten it all, but you really haven't. And so we found that pre-treatment, right, is necessary. So is something like this, can you pre-treat lowers with it? Can you pre-treat engine bays and then jump straight into pressure washing?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I would do. This will emulsify that dirt.
Yeah.
We'll use it a little bit later on one of these wheels. Now, it's not something I'd want to let sit for a long time.
Okay, so you want to have a hose on deck ready to go.
I mean, you just don't want it to dry. If it sits, you know, while you're working on it, you're nice and cool environment, it'll be just fine. But it's going to be safe on those powder coated finishes,
which is very important.
That's why we, you know, made this product to suit that reason, because most of these have black powder coat. Even
almost
the back of this truck right here, the bumper, it's all black powder coat, satin finishes.
Yep.
And we just don't want something that's going to dry them out, change the color, and cause a problem there.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, that makes it for a good point, especially with all the intricate powder coating work being done. I mean, this one right here having the blue springs, which is absolutely killer.
Yeah.
And then the extra bracing and all that underneath on the underside. So on this though, is this something that you would recommend? Would you use on the interior? Is it too strong? Because it looks like it sounds like it'd be too strong to use on the interior, but I'm certain it's probably case by case.
Case by case, but like, you know, I would definitely use it on the floors.
Okay, all right.
You know, these in the case that you're going to be rinsing, like, you know, not the wipe down situation.
Not the wipe down situation, but rinsing.
But if you're gonna pull the plugs in the floors, you're gonna rinse them out. You're gonna hit it with mud buster. Take your brush. You can use a stiffer brush or whatever style brush you want. Get in all those tight areas and rinse it out.
Yeah,
that's where you're going to use it. It's going to get rid of the grease. You can clean around the engine. You know, the CV joints, all those areas where oil, grease can accumulate.
Okay.
It's going to help you clean those areas.
Yeah, and everything does get greasy, and so especially in the motorcycle world, because with motorcycles, right? You're throwing on wax on the chain, right? And when you throw on that wax on the chain, where does the wax go? It goes everywhere but the chain, typically, right? It likes to fling off and it likes to fly off, and so with wax buildup in certain areas, and then just general grime that just breaks down around drivetrain components on something that's so exposed, something like that is a huge help, right? It's not a dedicated chain degreaser. That's not what it was designed for, but I would imagine it's safe on O-rings, it's safe on other rubber surfaces and things like that, that I would feel comfortable and confident using that. So, we putting on gloves here. All right.
Put in some work.
We
gotta get working because I'm sure we got some questions that will be coming.
I know we have questions. I'm excited for the questions, but I'm also excited to play with this stuff.
I know. I mean, so what I'll do is I'm going to take the mud buster. I'm going to go up here and clean this passenger front control arm, the tire, the wheel.
Okay.
And maybe you can grab a pressure washer and help me rinse this off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we're going to do that, and then we'll head over and do a seat.
Okay.
And then we'll put some full send on that and let it just
let it do its thing.
Yeah, but we got to get it clean first.
Okay. Do I get to play with maybe? I kind of want to play with the pit stop on the dirt bike potentially. Does that work?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Heck
pit
yeah,
stop,
man.
Maybe dirt bike and maybe that Sticker Mafia, door.
Wipe that down because that's brand new. I mean, he literally wrapped that for the event because he was like, he wanted to play with that in a final, and I think we got something for that.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Anyways, let's go and check this out. I'm gonna grab the pressure washer while you get started on the demo.
Cool. All right. So I would like to start here, up in the wheel well. I mean, this thing's brand new, but it already has some dirt. Looks like the TRC guys were having some fun.
I didn't get to have that fun, but Gabe Garcia got to have that fun.
I want to take this out and have some fun. I flew here, but I'm willing to get a U-Haul and take this home with me if I need to.
And so you got the Detail Factory tire brush right there. You're giving it a run.
Nice and easy. I'm going to take this brush. You know what I want to do?
Preload it. Yeah.
Preload it a little bit. Soften it up.
But I think the idea of having something like this, like an all-around cleaner that people could pre-spray, because I don't think that everybody that's into off-road is extremely into, let's just say, the intricate details, but I think giving them something that's easy to use, that you can say, hey, spray this on, rinse it off, you're going to see a substantial difference before jumping into your foam can and contact wash.
Yeah, as a detailer, man, this is what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just kind of want to just spray the whole side of this.
Yeah.
Let it sit.
Yeah.
And then power wash it off. And you can do that because it's already breaking down all these dirt clumps here.
Yeah.
So this is where the areas I would hit it.
Okay.
You can scrub here because this is that textured plastic. I don't recommend really scrubbing this.
Yeah.
But
You can still hit it.
Pre-treat it to emulsify that dirt.
Start breaking it down.
And start breaking it down.
Okay.
Because later we're going to foam this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
now, do I have to? Would there be a reason why I dilute Mud Buster?
You can dilute Mud Buster. You can dilute it up to 10-to-1.
Okay, cool.
To get great results. So you can dilute it down if you'd like.
Okay.
And or go full strength way it comes in the pint.
See, I would say full send, but then people would get confused. They go, wait, so the dressing? No, I meant just full send, as a figure of speech.
Exactly.
Okay. Very cool. So when let me know when you think it's a good time to spray.
I think we're good to rinse all those areas off. Let's do the underside of the wheel well and work our way down.
Clean that pretty much instantly. And so, yeah, that looks fantastic, even after they ripped on it.
Yeah,
so I'm
we'll hit the tire, the wheel, and that door.
Go down to the wheel and tire here.
And then we'll see what wide open all-terrain wash does at the end on all the other surfaces. Nice. That's what we want to see. Perfect.
Heck yeah.
So
That's
let some of that water dry.
Yeah, let it dry. We're working with DI water, so we'll be fine.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'll hit it with full send.
Now, the big thing though too is that, I mean, and you know this because, obviously you're very experienced in this, but when people rinse off their UTVs, dirt bikes and whatnot, a lot of times they're just using hard water, right? Yeah. And a lot of times that vehicle is hot. And I'm guessing there's water spots and water spot issues like that. So with any of these products, today, especially the washing products, is this something that even with hard water, do you still recommend washing in the shade if you can in a more ideal situation?
Yeah, heat is never your friend when you're detailing. Yeah. And so I always recommend cool areas. Mm-hmm. Now this cleaner can probably help break down some of those very minimal, maybe from last week's wash. Yeah. Calcium deposits, but it's not acidic, so it's not going to get rid of those heavy water spots.
Okay, cool, very cool. All right, so I'll go put this away here.
We're going to go on another journey.
We're going to go on another journey.
We're going to go over here and play.
Adventure awaits, right? That's that's what's going on here.
So we went ahead and pulled this seat out of this side by side.
This is pretty dirty.
Yeah, it's already been used. It's perfect. it's perfect. I mean, there's some rips in the seat.
Yeah, I'm like, it should have had some protection on it or something. But that's why we're here today, right? I mean, it's not too late for it. We can probably still bring some of it back.
I think so. Okay. I think we can. So we'll take the cockpit cleaner. You want the brush?
Okay. Yep.
And we'll hit all these areas. Now this is just vinyl.
Dude, that smells.
Do you like the smell?
Yep. Yep. Good. That's a pretty nice fragrance right there. Oh my God, it's good. It is ridiculously
I know you're
good.
a stickler for the fragrances, man.
I am, but that is a ridiculously good scent. I love that. I love that so much. All right, so I'm gonna hit my side real quick here.
So you can go ahead and hit your side with the brush.
Okay.
But even if you were out enjoying your time with your family or your buddies and you just wanted to give it a quick spray and wipe, it'll work well with a microfiber towel also.
Oh, I'm starting to see a lot of that dirt lift right there. That's a ton of dirt lifting. And you can see the foam obviously changing color there.
I think that silver is going to totally clean up.
Dude, I think that silver is going to look insane. And so we're using just a detail factory brush right now. Boar's hair a little bit stiffer to be able to get into this stuff.
Yeah, you could use whatever your favorite upholstery brush is. I do really like these detail factory brushes, especially all the stitching.
So a big thing for me, right, is that certain cleaners, right, when it mixes with a certain amount of soil, right, a certain amount of dirt, it doesn't smell good. It smells off, right?
Yeah.
This, for some reason, man, it is refreshing as holy heck. Is that? I don't know if that can pick that up. That's a pretty.
You know, there's a lot of surfaces just on this seat. There's metal that's painted, there's plastic, there's the vinyl.
Yeah.
It can be used on all of those surfaces. I mean, the back of this thing is just hard plastic.
Yeah.
And they never get cleaned.
Dude, this is doing some serious work. And yes, this is cleaning substantially more than that of other cleaners. I mean, even in your guys' line, which says a lot because your guys' stuff is amazing, but this is looking great.
I think this is rubbing from the seatbelt right here.
Oh, that's still coming off. Let me see if I can agitate that a little bit. Oh, so you see that?
Yeah.
That's all
it's
coming
needed
out.
the right friction.
That is all.
The right brush.
You can see all that browning coming out of that seat. That is pulling a lot of stuff. That is just sat and dried. See if I can remove that stains coming out right there.
We chose a good seat for this one.
This is a great seat for this one.
Put a little right here.
I think John Francie, the owner of this thing, is gonna be pretty excited. Well, either that or he's just gonna say, well, I'm gonna go get it dirty again for you.
Or he's gonna say, are you gonna clean the driver's seat now?
Yeah, you guys can do the other one.
So there you go, that's Cockpit cleaner.
Okay.
And there's many surfaces in there. You know, some of these rigs have a headliner.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
And so you want to clean the headliner with it.
Well, this shows, that's pretty wicked right there. So if we wanted to, right, with some of this being vinyl here in the middle, this kind of carbon, we could hit this with full send, right? And it would protect.
Yes, we could hit it with full send. We could spray all this and just let it soak in, let it just self-level and dry.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times I wash these. I would do this and I would just rinse it off.
Yeah.
And then let it dry itself.
Okay.
But
I mean, this is going so wickedly fast.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with that. I missed one spot up here. It's the only spot I didn't agitate right there. Yeah, you can see all it pulling.
Yep. I think Dave did a great job making this product.
Yeah. No, this is great. And so, of course, like everything else from the P&S brand, everything is made right here in the USA.
So that's when I would use full send, because a lot of this is just dried out.
Could we? Yeah. Can we do that when we do a quick demo?
Maybe.
Can we do that? We can do that over there. We can step over here.
Yeah.
Just because I want to see out of my own curiosity.
I don't know how much walking around they want us to do back and forth.
The camera guys, all right, that's enough moving.
We're gonna drive them crazy.
You've changed sets too many times.
So it's already starting to dry a little bit.
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and take full send and just hit all of this and let that.
Okay, so you're hitting
mist.
all of it. You're hitting everything.
I'm not worried about the powdered coat, the shocks, the tires, the wheel wells. Now it's a little wetter than I would like.
Okay.
If I would have had a leaf blower or something, I probably would have dried.
Knocked it down a little bit.
Yeah, but I think it's going to level itself nicely, and then we'll come back with one of our orange towels.
And
actually, you know, here.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Hold that for me.
Okay.
Well, I forgot we have these things. These are great.
Oh, and you're going to work it in using the applicator.
The Pro applicator, right?
Yeah. Now, this is all stuff that we've kind of helped combine with the off-road line from the Rag Company, because we figured an off-road line obviously needs some pretty sweet accessories, right? And so being able to kind of pair things that work well with the brand and work well with the products. And so this, for example, being a Pro Weave applicator, it's able to really help level, but also just distribute the product very evenly, and it feels very comfortable.
Yeah, we don't want to absorb all of it. We just want to move it around and blend it in. So it'll do a nice job of doing that.
Okay.
And let's do the seat real quick. I mean, you asked for it, so let's try it.
No, I did ask for it. And so what I'm going to do is I didn't hit all the lowers here like I probably should have, but I am going to do an
let's
application.
just do the back.
Okay, do the seat back here. And now would you apply it directly to it or to the applicator and then apply it via applicator?
Probably, let's try the applicators. Put a little bit on there. You know, some of these areas like this is going to take a lot of product, this texture.
Okay. So I'm going to start kind of right here in the middle. I'm going to kind of create myself a little drip line.
There you go.
And then kind of work from there.
This.
And then bring it down from the sides. Work it in. You're absolutely right. This is all just very dry. It needed some moisture, needed something to it. So I'm kind of going over all this.
You're doing the good old 50-50.
Yeah. Holy smokes, man! It looks way better. I mean, I'm hoping it's all picking up on camera because this looks like night and day difference, especially going on all this dried out textile stuff.
And like I said, I mean, love the name. I love this fragrance. I'm happy with it.
The second that I started spraying on the applicator, I was like, oh yeah, that smells like candy. That smells like candy. Oh, yeah. So leather seats. So I can just thinking of like, how can I find more ways to use this, right? Because I'm like, okay, I can't put on my motorcycle seat. Actually, so I have a leather seat. If I were to knock it down, right, because it's got UV protection built into this. If I were to knock it down, right, make sure it's still nice and grippy, it should be fine. So. All right, we have some questions about the scents. Okay, so if we can see, there's a question. We have one question. What do we got, Dane? Do we have any questions?
No, we actually had several questions, but you guys were kind of moving along, so I didn't want to totally butt in. Okay. But they were dying to know.
So let's do this. Let's wipe down the KTM with some pit stop.
Okay.
And answer some questions a little bit.
And then we'll get to the other things.
Continue on.
Cool. All right, so I'm going to grab the pit stop towel right here. Got this, okay, and then grabbing our pint. Is that fine? Okay,
let's try the pint.
And so now for me, right, because I keep my motorcycles pretty clean, right, especially, I do a good job, right, but here's the downside. Summer riding, there's always bug guts. Always. And then dirt bikes. I have a friend named Jason, right? He took his dirt bike out for a very light off-road adventure. Literally has not cleaned it for 6 months. And I said, hey man, why don't you wipe that down? I just don't know what to wipe it down with. And I said, okay, you really have just no idea. He's like, yeah, I have to give it a full wash. So this is something that makes a lot more sense, right? Than having to, put it off or something you can wipe down. Because I told him a cleaner dirt bike in the garage is going to look a lot better than something still covered in light dust and dirt. So,
and the reason I decided that we should do pit stop in this order, or the order of all the products, is because if you go a little bit crazy like I do, with full send, and you get it on some areas that you just don't want the shine on, you can come back with quick detailing and do your touch-ups.
Yeah.
So in your detailing of your own rig or of your customer's rig, whatever you want, that's how I would do it. I would come back and clean up those edges.
Yeah. And this stuff adds some pretty good gloss.
It has a nice gloss to it.
For just an off-road quick detail. I'm looking at this as I'm wiping it like, okay, that's probably unnecessary amount of shine for this, but it looks damn good if I say so myself. Holy smokes.
It smells good too.
And it smells really, really good. Yeah, this is, I'm just gonna keep. So this smells like something tropical, right? Now, some people might say, does it smell like summer drink? It doesn't smell like summer drink, unfortunately, if you're a fan of the Blue Bean Maker at one point.
No, it is not. It does not smell like that. It has a mango-y, summery
It does have a different kind of it has a little bit of mango, but something else is in the mix as well. But I really like it. I think regardless of...
Part of that, it's the chemical that does that too, right? It can always change those. But I'm happy with it. It's fresh, as it's floating through the air right now. Yeah. It's pleasant.
It's very pleasant. And so what I would do, right, if it was me, right, before any ride, I would take this stuff to it because it does add slickness. So the idea is that when you're going on a ride, right, especially on a motorcycle, and you're going to be going through a bug-infested area, I like it when the bugs ski off my fairings, not hit me, but go around me, and that way I don't have to deal with a bunch of bug splatters because bug etchings happen on not just cars, right, but it happens on motorcycles as well, and it's something that's not fun. It's not fun to deal with. And so something like this, it's going to add some protection, It's going to add some UV, more UV protection and slickness. I really like that
That's
idea.
a really good point about creating a barrier to protect. In the same way, you probably could use full send in wheel wells.
Yep.
To create that barrier. Now, it's going to attract that dust a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person that's going to go mudding and you want to come back and just power wash it when you're done, it's going to be that barrier to help you just knock that stuff down.
It's going to be a barrier to where if you wanted to be lazy, knock it down, take this out, wipe it down really quick, and then call it good. So I wouldn't do this on the seat, but this is something I would still feel confident hitting on the wheels, absolutely 100%. You can wipe down, like for example, you have your small miniature display here, right?
Exactly.
I can tell you there's already one.
Someone's wiped it.
Okay, yeah, somebody already kind of wiped it, so I'm going to take
hold the cables
take my pit stop and give it one little spritz there, go through and clean that up, and that's going to look a ton better.
Let's do this real quick. If these guys want to follow us, let's go over and do the same thing.
Okay. I'll let you play with it because I'm having too much fun.
All right. Door handles right here. So, I mean, got dirty inner doors here.
Yeah.
And this thing is definitely custom. Nice light spritz.
Well, in those gauges, right? The gauges also scratch. The faces of those gauges, especially aftermarket.
So nice light wipe and then flip your towel, you know. And this thing has some custom gauges.
And so you're kind of using it as a dedicated quick detailer in this particular case. But if you wanted to, I mean, you could go through with the Cockpit and then take a brush and then agitate everything to lift everything out and then go through the protection. Or you could also use full send in the case that it needs some moisture. It needs a little bit more, something to it, right?
Yeah, those are the surfaces that I'm gonna, recommend using Cockpit cleaner on.
Okay.
Or on our pit stop for this metal powder coating, aluminum doors. Mm-hmm. Get behind here and clean them up nice.
Yeah.
And then also, I'll let you show that.
I mean, there's a lot of fingerprints on here.
From Gabe ripping this thing around.
Yeah.
Getting in and out.
A lot of greasy fingerprints. So yeah, give that a spray down.
Can you hold that for me? I'm gonna go and flip my towel. And that towel was dirty actually. Nice and dirty.
Yeah, no, it's picking up some dirt for sure. And like we said before, this is going to have a little bit more of an emphasis on cleaning power than a standard quick detailer, mainly for the fact that it was designed for off-road and it knows it's going to be picking up some dirt. But flashes off extremely fast. Kyle's flipping his towel, and I could see it kind of happening here.
And it shows it on this.
It shows it very well.
Yeah, just lightly buff it down and give it that gloss.
How's it feel? It feels pretty smooth.
Yeah. I mean, this is some cool stuff. I may have to hit up your sticker mafia guy, you know?
Right, I know. John, John makes some pretty amazing things. So with that being pit stop, right? So we have technically we have another product left in the line here, which I think will probably be the most popular product, especially for what most people are going to be using off-road, right? Now, you said before, foam cannon use, bucket wash use. I think that most people that probably have any type of off-road vehicle probably already invested in a pressure washer because I think they go hand in hand.
You need one for sure.
You need one. So with that said, they probably have a foam cannon of some sort. I know that there's going to be more accessories down the road for the off-road line, probably things like a foam cannon, something that's a little more dedicated like that, probably more proper brushes to be able to get more intricate areas. But this being a foam cannon ready soap, that has the rust inhibitors in it, that has things that's going to land on the surface, protect it in the future, it seems like it's pretty easy to use.
Yeah, it's going to be really easy to use. When we played with it, I feel like a 10-to-1.
Okay.
I don't like a light soap. I don't like whipped cream.
Okay.
But I don't like it like milk.
You don't like, you don't
like that in between.
Watery.
I want it to drag the dirt down the side of any vehicle.
Okay.
And emulsify, lift that dirt.
Yeah.
But I don't want it just to sit there.
Okay.
I want it to glide.
Yeah.
And so 10-to-1 will work great. It's working great on this cannon. Some cannons you may want to go a little bit more. Add a little bit. I don't know. This is about 100 mils in here.
Okay.
So you maybe 150 mils.
Okay. Okay.
If you want whipped cream.
Double it.
Yeah.
Double it. Triple it.
Triple it.
Have fun with it. Okay.
Squeeze the whole bottle in it. Just put the cannon right on the 32-ounce bottle and I'm joking.
Heck yeah. So, and if anybody wasn't aware right now, so the off-road line is available right now at theradcompany.com. I know that sounds like a QVC commercial, but honestly, it really is. And so head to theradcompany.com. PNS is doing something crazy today, obviously 20% with the rest of the line, but launching at TRCMA is amazing, right? Being able to offer a discount right out the gate is also amazing, but also you guys have your coin, right? So your collectible coin that you guys have with the TRCMA and PNS combo on there. So this is going to the charity of your choice, right? Which is going to help more clean water in Africa, right?
That's what Mr. Phillips shows.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. And so this is great, man. And so be able to collect this. It goes along with the rest of the coins for the entire week. There is still one more coin tomorrow that you guys will have to wait for, but it goes to a good cause, right? 100% of the proceeds go to a charity of the brand's choice throughout the entire week, and it's something cool to take home with you, right? To remember TRCMA, and then whether you want to shadow box it, whether you want to keep it in your UTV or off-road vehicle, you can do a coin flip. Throw it down. Which path am I taking? Am I going left or am I going right?
Yeah, that's actually, I like that.
Right? Do you like that?
That was slick.
Thanks,
Fork
man.
in the road.
The fork in the road. Which way you going, left or right? I think it's a really cool feature of just kind of being able to give that back to you guys here during TRCMA. So I think we're going to open it up for some questions, Dane, because at the very end we are going to be foaming the razor and then sending it off to the rest of the PNS team. So Dane, what do we got?
Oh, I know. They're pretty excited for that one. There's been a lot of talk here, chatter in the comments, people interested to see the stuff in action. And, of course, they're liking the labels, the colors. They really want to know the smells, though, specifically the Bearded Hunter. Let me pull his comment up here. He was wondering about the interior product, wondering what it smells like.
So the interior, dude, it smells, it's like super fresh. I don't really know. I've never really smelled anything like that before. And I think that means a lot coming from me. And you guys know that I'm a pretty big fan of smells, but I have not smelled this smell before. And so obviously PNS pulled this out of somewhere, deep in their secret rooms because it is.
It's a fresh. I wouldn't say it's I don't know if it's lemony fresh.
I'm told
No,
it's a little
not-
citrusy.
It's got a little bit.
citrusy.
in the
got-
ballpark.
It's got like some kind of citrus in it, but it also has like this weird, like kind of like balancing effect to it. And like I said, the second it hit dirt, how do I say it? Almost smelled better. The second it like made contact with the dirt, I was like, oh, I like
Really?
this. This smells
Like
really
so
good.
kind of a citrusy, but when you mix it with the dirt, it becomes earthy, or
Kind of, in like a weirdly, oddly good way. I don't know
so
how
weird
else to
cologne
describe
is
it.
what I'm getting out of
Weird
this when you
cologne.
combine it
No,
with
it's
the
not
dirt.
weird cologne.
It's not weird cologne. It's not. Yeah, it's not the cologne that I failed to make one
It's
time.
a fresh
No.
fragrance. I mean, it says that it is meant to leave that lingering fresh smell.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
just-
absolutely. If you're gonna use this like in your garage or you're wiping something down, it's gonna smell like that in it.
As
for
this
sure.
has been developed,
Yeah.
our mad scientist Dave Phillips
Yeah.
has just blended and tweaked, and we'll have to get him on one day to answer all these very particular questions about what it is in there.
Yeah.
I think so. I think
it's a
that'll be
mix of a
that'll
few
be a
things.
future Q&A, or that'll be something where we have him come back. But I mean that's the thing. I mean, this was all developed by Dave Phillips, right? Who is the father, right? The father of bead maker, right? He is he's the one that created that. And so I think just reminding people, it goes a long way, because I mean, there's only one Dave Phillips out there, and he's just an incredible person. And I think that everything that he creates we look forward to it every single time. So
It's great every time. Now,
what else do we got?
Samantha Sweden here saying, Kyle Clark, where's my T-shirt? I wear a large.
Oh, I think we can make that happen, Samantha.
There is people trying to take this shirt off of my back already, and I'm
Literally
like,
right
I haven't even had it on for an hour, right? I'm like, give us time, right? The logo is absolutely awesome. I think that this is you guys might potentially have these, maybe, right?
Yeah. I mean,
It-
maybe. I think this is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be big.
Dude, I think
I do.
so. I know right now, that we have quite a few of our off-road fans, right, and Grand Ambassadors and things like that are heavily in the Jeep community and other off-road community. I know they're watching this. I know they're looking forward to it. I think they're looking forward to kind of everything that this line is going to offer, not just on a chemical basis, but I think it's going to be accessories. I think it's going to be stickers. I think it's going to be more of that lifestyle of being able to get dirty, but then able to clean up well, right? It's a perfect example of a guy that goes out works really hard 9 to 5, gets really, gets really, really dirty, and is able to put on a suit at the end of the day and show up at a party and, wow the audience.
Now, I've got our friend Baum here asking a question, but I'll let you finish that. Go ahead.
Bomb detail.
Wants to know, do you feel full send works kind of like dynamic as far as the wet application, or is it different?
It's definitely going to be different.
Yeah, it's different.
Because it's not dynamic.
Yeah, it is not dynamic dressing.
But it is going to self-level like dynamic does and moisturize those powder-coated surfaces.
Yeah.
And the shine, I feel, is more than a natural shine.
Yeah, it looks very natural to me.
But not wet,
satin. I call it satin. Based off of what I'm seeing right there on that razor, I mean, granted that it's new, I can tell the difference, and I mean, it's definitely more of a satin shine to it, and so, but it's slick. I mean, it's not slick. It's smooth in the sense that you rub your hand over it. It's not greasy, and dynamic just goes on really thick, and unless you apply a nice even application, sometimes you can get high spots. With this, based off of what you did there, it looks like it's perfectly perfectly level.
Yeah, it looks really good. I would probably go over there with a microfiber and blend in the wheel a little bit because it has some pockets.
Okay, yeah.
But it's ready to go.
Heck yeah, okay.
All right, and then he had another question. I feel like we just found a new all-around interior cleaner. He's very excited about that one. So I think that one's kicking
I think your customers will like it on any vehicle.
Yeah.
And Decon must have ordered a bottle right away because he said he was blown away by Anthony's reaction to the smell. So I think he just wants to find out, what's Anthony like? All right, because he knows he's picky. I'm
telling you, guys know I'm really weird about the smells, but like when I like something, I really like something, and I'm telling you that was, I'm very happy.
G. Davis follows with, I know more than you. Anthony on Sense. Now, Fernando, good question here, saying, are these products for off-road only? I feel like I know the answer.
I mean, they can be used on really any vehicle. I mean, honestly, I'm going to use this stuff on my Dodge Ram because my Dodge Ram gets pretty beat on in comparison to my other cars. I still have mud from a future adventure that you guys are going to see tomorrow as a teaser. I still have mud inside, right? I'm probably going to dip into this stuff before dipping into anything else because I know that that'll be able to tackle the job probably much faster and much more efficiently. Did I tell you that I have, my floors in that Dodge Ram? I have vinyl floors.
That is awesome.
So vinyl floors, right? With this, that's not slick. I think it's, I'm excited. So yes, it can be used for things outside of off-road, but I mean, it really was intended for off-road.
Exactly.
But I think it can be used for a little bit of everything.
We went down the journey of trying to create something for the off-road market, but this doesn't limit it to
just that.
Yeah.
Would it be safe to say that they're perhaps a little on the more aggressive side compared to a more traditional car product, just because you're dealing with mud and dirt?
I think so. I think they're slightly more on the aggressive side, but I mean, Dave wouldn't make anything that would be harmful, and so I know that he wouldn't do that, but I think that he would be able to maybe concentrate something where it needs to be, to make it worth it, right? And so I think he does a really good job at that. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, though, I mean, wide open, having a shampoo that has rust inhibitors in it, that's cool. That is absolutely huge for any vehicle, right? Especially undercarriages and things like that for East Coast vehicles, Northeast vehicles, anywhere where you're going to see major corrosion happening.
They need all the help they can get.
Yeah, they need all the help they can get. So I'll tell you, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if my truck lived over there, I mean, there'd be holes in it, right? And so that's something that's why I'd be using something like this for anything on the underside or heck, even the paint at that point.
Yeah, and Adam had a similar question here. Basically said he's got a work truck that's constantly covered in dirt and, stuff from job sites. So that's actually a good idea, if you're like construction or like electrical, power line worker, something like that, those trucks get dirty. That seems like a good approach there.
Yeah, no, like any type of power trucks or any type of plumbing trucks, any of that stuff that's out in the field is going to get absolutely filthy. And so, I mean, it makes the most sense. But the rust inhibitors it's absolutely what's selling it for me. Yeah.
All right, that was pretty much the extent of it, because there were a lot of questions about people wondering if it was better to use exclusively on off-road versus, on-road cars, but I think we firmly established that's the case. Now, was there anything else you guys wanted to touch on before we're moving on here?
I just say at this point in time, I mean, this is something that I recommend trying it out for yourself, whether you have an off-road vehicle or not, or something that you're just wanting to just genuinely try out and to test out the cleaning power. If you don't have an off-road vehicle, like I'm assuming not everybody does, things that you can still enjoy and absolutely use would probably be the Cockpit interior cleaner. I think you can absolutely still enjoy the Pit Stop Quick Detailer, the Full Send deep dressing. Just depending on how well you maintain your car, you may not need to overuse the all-around cleaner, right? You may not have to use a soap with rust inhibitors in it, but the option's there if that's the path you want to go down. But the line is absolutely awesome. It's beautiful. It looks great, and I really hope that people get to use it. And I mean, jump on it. Have fun with it.
And I would add that I think this is just the beginning of the line.
Yeah.
We'll see where this goes.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
There may be additions to it over time, but this is our what we wanted to bring to the world and start.
Yep.
And before we full send over to our friends, I think we can attach that foam cannon.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
And see how nice this comes out.
All right. So I'm gonna get this set up. So in terms of the viscosity, it still looks thin in there. But at the same time, it's got a really nice green color. Gonna go ahead and attach this on the MTM Aqua line here. Get it around that meaty tire tread.
Dang, man. There you go.
There we go.
Yeah,
that is some meaty tire tread. That's grabbing onto everything.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm excited. Okay, so you tell me. You are the professional off-roader. What should I hit?
Let's hit all this back here.
Everything back there?
Foam
okay.
it up.
All right, so
let's make the adjustments as needed.
Does anybody want to come to the foam show over here? Glenn, are you ready for the foam show? So Glenn, right, who's one of our editors, but also one of our videographers, she is a huge fan of off-roading. So she has a Jeep, and this has been the thing that she's been looking forward to the most out of all of TRCMA. Seriously, like we did her Jeep the other day with the Dry Ice Energy, and she's like, okay, this is awesome. I love this, but I want the off-road products.
Could I see a Wash Wednesday one day with her red Jeep?
Okay, she's jumping up and down. All right, keep the camera still, Glenn. I know you're excited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay this on. Here we go.
Let's see how it goes. It's sticking. It's clinging.
That's cleaning extremely well.
And it smells nice.
It does smell nice. That does smell really. I don't know what that is.
It smells better out of the cannon.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either, but that smells great. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for something that's going to be able to pull, dwell, and start to basically break down any of that dirt that's sitting on the surface. But you can see the engine right here. Everything is cleaning extremely well, and I'm excited to know that there's rust inhibitors being left on the surface to keep it protected and keep that corrosion at bay. So, wow, awesome. So, anyways, guys, Kyle, any last things to say before we hand it over to the rest of your team?
No, this has been great. Thank you very much, Anthony. Thanks to Rag Company for having us.
Thank you.
And follow us on our social media. Yeah. And we'll be sharing a lot more of the PNS off-road line.
All right, guys, so that's PNS Off-Road for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys dig it. Pick it up at theragcompany.com. Again, it's on sale right now. You're going to love it. So I think it's time to pass it on to other Team PNS to take on some more stuff.
All right, so hey, Anthony and Kyle over there, the dirty boys, I would say we're going to clean up the conversation. But the first thing we're going to talk about is getting undressed.
Right.
So I don't know if we're going to clean up the conversation or not.
Yeah, I don't know. This first part could be a little dicey.
It could be. So lead into it. This is something that you've been really involved in, so pretty exciting.
Yes, so we're super excited. So we have a partner to our Undressed. So last July we came out with Undressed, which was a tire prep. So what this does is it removes all old tire dressing, removes all the browning, just completely resets the tire, right, to like new. So we decided that we needed to come out with a new product, and this one's called Dressed. So we got undressed, and now we figured it was time to get dressed.
A lot of people realize silicone's a big topic right now, the shortage of it. So this is a really great product because it's a polymer based, which is kind of new in the dressing world. We're really happy to introduce it because it's solving another problem.
Yes. Yep. So it's a completely non-hazardous formula. It's easy to apply, and it works really well after you've used Undressed. So one tip with Dressed also is, because we are switching to a polymer-based tire finish, we do want to make sure that we strip all the old, silicone and any other kind of tire dressing that you've had on there. We want to make sure we get that off. So in the essence of time, we have already used Undressed on all of these tires on this Challenger. So now why don't we show them Dressed?
Sounds good. Now, I'm going to stay away from the car because I've got a little problem. I've got a sharp object built onto me right now.
Yeah.
And so you'll see Sydney doing all the work, and I kind of like that anyway.
Yeah.
You're funner to watch work than me.
Works for you.
So.
Perfect. All right, so if we look at this tire, it's just nice and black and clean. All the old tire dressings have been stripped off, so this was prepared and now it's dry. So that is kind of something that we want to know, is this product works best when applied to a dry tire. It's not really one that you want to use when the tire's wet. Super easy. We only need a little bit of product. So I like to apply this with a flag tip brush. You can certainly use your favorite tire applicator. You can spray it right on the tire. I prefer to use the brush just so that I don't get overspray on the wheels. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to preload my brush with about 3 or 4 sprays of Dressed, and then we're just going to apply it to that tire. So easy. And the reason I like these flag tip brushes is see how it fits right there in that crevice on the tire to make sure that we get the dressing everywhere for a uniform look. Now this tire finish will come off a little bit shiny as you're putting it on, and not to worry, it does completely settle on its own and it self-levels, and it will just be a nice satin shine. And then the great thing about this product is it is stackable. So if you do prefer a little bit more of a glossier appearance, you can just go back in about 10 minutes and apply another coat. Super easy.
We found out too that if you live in an area that's challenged, which where I live is, it's in the mountains, we've got weather, is that a second layer is going to take and give you a really nice even look. And again, I like a little more gloss than the average person, and this just delivers it, putting that second coat on.
Yeah, and so when you are using multiple coats, you want to make sure that first coat is a little bit lighter, just so that it really bonds to the tire and you won't end up with the tire sling, which the Undressed helps with that as well. So really great tire finish. I'm super excited about it. It has a nice cherry scent to it, and it works really great. And it's such a great, like you said, it's a great silicone tire dressing alternative.
Absolutely.
So we're super excited about it.
A lot of people ask too is, how do we get a tire dressing to last longer? And the key to that is getting it prepped right. You're going to get less sling, you're going to get a lot nicer finish, and it's going to last longer in the long run. So it's pretty exciting about that. And again, kind of new.
Yep, we're super excited about it. So this is available now. We've been working on this for
a while.
We pretty much started working on this as soon as Undressed came out. So super excited about that. So what else do you have for me?
Well, we can go into our trios. We've got new coatings. We've got some exciting stuff happening, within the double black line. So I think let's jump into our trio.
Okay.
And we get a lot of questions when it comes to, bead maker's been a staple. We're going to go in and really clarify some questions that we've had on that. Paint gloss, something in our lineup that is in my hand. I know it's in your hands every single day. Every single day we're using this product. And then really what Dream Maker is all about and how it kind of plays into the trio package. So
let's go through each one and define them. So like you said, it is our #1 question that we get on all of our platforms, right?
Absolutely.
They say, what is the difference between Bead Maker and Dream Maker? What's the difference with, paint gloss? So let's go through what each one really does.
Absolutely.
So starting with paint gloss.
It's a daily, it's in my hands. I use it for everything. So you can use it on door jams, as clay lube, cleanup, use it on my sunglasses. It's something, we prime our pads with it. And so there's so many uses now. You've had a couple of really unique things, and that's dog hair on interior. So explain that one a little bit.
So when we found out that paint gloss works as such a great anti-static when used on top of Bead Maker, which we'll go into that in just a minute, it has really great anti-static properties. So I started using it as a vacuum aid. So kind of just noticing when there was lots of dog hair and dirt, and I live in a really sandy area, and so wanted something that would help. If you can imagine when you're vacuuming and the sand just pops up, pops down, pops up, pops down, and it's that static. And so I wanted to cut the static barrier. So I just started spritzing the carpet with the paint gloss and then vacuuming, all the sand would come up, all the dog hair would come up. Just made it so much easier. So love it as an anti-static spray. That's probably my favorite.
So I got to ask you, is Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? Somebody at one time took chocolate and peanut butter and figured it out. So what's going through your mind is I'm vacuuming and I've got to see if this will work on dog hair. Seriously, just got to share that story because it is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I knew that I needed something to cut the static barrier. I know that, in other crazy applications, I have a daughter, right? And so, this is totally off track, but American dolls and like dolls with doll hair that gets all tangled, you could use fabric softener to cut the static barrier and then, get the tangles out and stuff. So when I knew that this was an anti-static spray, that just kind of a bell rung in my head. Like, I wonder if this would help with dog hair. And the cool thing about it too is that it's just a couple spritz. So it's not like you're putting liquid in your vacuum, you know?
No.
So it totally works. Yeah. And so I can't vacuum without it now.
No, you've got Diane hooked.
Yeah.
And every student that comes through training now, we teach that too. The other thing I use this for a lot is just daily on paint gloss is just going as a daily duster inside my vehicle. And so, I hate to have dust. I like to have, anything on, if there's a speck on my dash or on the piano finish and on the center console, it drives me nuts. And so just as a quick smudge remover, it's fantastic. It does a great job. So let's back up a little bit because you've figured out a way. Again, we're going to credit you with the credit for this over Beadmaker, but let's go into Beadmaker and then come back to this. So a lot of clarifications. Beadmaker, there's other products out there, but Beadmaker was really unique in that it was really the first spray protector of its kind. Is that one of the things that Dave, Anthony was just talking about Dave, he's a truth serum. And so he won't let us ever stretch the truth, even if we want to. Dave's by the book, right? And so SiO2, we always get asked this. Beadmaker is SiO2 based. Why didn't we say that from the beginning is because there's a lot of other people out there that have started using that term. They're at equal or lesser amounts of SiO2 than we are. We just didn't feel, it's not a ceramic spray. We all know that ceramic is a hand applied or spray, not a spray out of a bottle application. So we didn't feel comfortable stretching that fact a little bit, but it is SiO2 based. And so one of the things Beadmaker is coming into it, it's still a staple. We absolutely love it. A lot of people do. Again, multiple uses. Is that we're using it naturally as a protector, drying agent, as a maintenance product, as a topper when we get, not just on our coatings.
Yeah, it plays well with almost anything, right? Even waxes. And I don't know any coatings that it doesn't play well with.
No, we really don't. The thing that a lot of people don't, and this blows people's mind, we use paint gloss as a clay lube. Beadmaker is an excellent clay lube, and when you're done, you don't have to put a protectant down because you just use the protectant as the lube.
That's where I call, that's my moneymaker, right?
Seriously,
so this is what I primarily do. If I'm not coating a car, I'm what we call wash clay seal. So that is where I'm using a clay towel and Beadmaker, and I'm decontaminating and protecting the paint in one shot. So that is probably my favorite function of Beadmaker. It's absolutely amazing.
Mine too.
It makes the car look amazing, feel amazing, and you get all of it in one shot.
And this is a curable product, meaning that as Beadmaker goes on, an hour or two later, it looks completely different. And when you use it in conjunction with clay, is the pop on it an hour or two later is insane. Even a whiter silver vehicle is going to just absolutely pop. And so it's amazing to watch that transition. So now going forward, so we're using this window as a window cleaner, as a cleaner on the glass panel. There's so many things. I use it on my computer. As sunglasses. Across the board. It's that friendly. Now, some things about it. Let's talk about anti-static. Let's talk about dust collection. First off, anything in a spray line. When you put things on a car and you create static by wiping it. And we've talked to a lot of manufacturers, the good guys out there. And then just think about the physics of it. When you wipe on something, you create a little static.
You create a static charge.
Absolutely. So anything's really going to create a static charge to it and create a little more dust, especially when the finish when you get it so fine
Yeah.
and it's perfect and you take it outside.
Right.
But something that you've been working with is putting paint gloss over the top of bead maker.
Yeah, basically because in my business, I was having to release the cars really soon after the bead maker application, and we all know that it is best left for a couple hours to cure because it is a true paint sealant. And so what I found is that if I wiped the car down with paint gloss right before delivering it to the customer, it kind of cut that static charge that the towel or whatever created in that rubbing process, whether it was the person or the towel, it cut that static charge and allowed me to release that vehicle much sooner and where it would collect less dust. So it just kind of, it just took away that static charge.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I figured that out, and that has been great. Also, I mean, it looks amazing.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
It looks amazing.
It finishes it down right. Any sponges that you get. Now let's talk about direct sunlight and bead maker. We get a lot of mobile detailers or show people. You know, you've got cars right here. Anything, again, the direct sun, you got to be careful with anything.
Yeah.
The thing is I like to take and use a 2-towel method. And so I'm going to kind of get a towel pretty wet with bead maker. I'm going to rub it in, and I'm going to take a dry towel right back over it.
Yeah.
And then a key that we've got is either coming back with paint gloss or Dream Maker behind that. So what's your methodology to that?
Yeah, so definitely, and this is kind of goes back to our original question, is what is the difference? So bead maker is not a quick detailer, right? It's a sealant. So it's really not ideal to apply it in full sun. And so same thing, I put it on the towel, and then use the 2-towel method. So it's really, you want to take the time to apply this product. It's not a quick detailer. It's not a quick wipe down. So that, I think that that's something where we're trying to make sure we go through what the strengths of each product are. This is a true standalone sealant, and so you want to apply it as you would
with
old
that
school,
mind.
like with wax or anything. I mean, you want to get everywhere. You want an even application, and so do it in the best environment. So, a lot of people ask, what if it's 100 degrees outside? What if it's 30 degrees outside? What do we do with bead maker?
Yeah, and again, I think the reason has it. So you want to try to get it into shade. You want to try to get it cool.
Yep.
You don't want it too cold, really below 60 degrees.
Yeah.
I really don't like putting sprays on the paint anyway. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
But in this case with bead maker, really that ideal temperature is under 100 degrees and above, I would say 60 in my environment. And we've done a lot of mobile detailing through the years, whether it be on aircraft or out of Monterey and so forth. We've seen the exact same thing. Yeah. Longevity is another question, is how long is it going to last? Longevity depends a lot on how you're taking care of the vehicle, what's already on the vehicle, has it been clayed, but we're saying, the price of the product. Listen, labor is expensive, product's cheap, and bead maker's a really affordable product to put on. Is that in my harsh environment at home, we're getting a solid 3 months out of it. A solid 3 months, and that's on a car that is moderately maintained in a garage. It might be a little less in my environment, but I'm at almost 7,000 feet. We've got a lot of stuff in the air. So what are you finding here in an environment like Boise?
So, like I said, I primarily apply bead maker using a clay towel, and I don't know the science behind this, but I feel like there's some magic that happens when you clay with bead maker, because
I do too.
I see it lasting close to 6 months, if not longer, when applied that way. A lot of my customers that come back at that 6-month mark, it's still present. And so I don't know what the magic is, but I believe there's some magic that happens when
I do too.
Playing with it.
Well, I think it's because we'd have to talk to Dave or Michael.
I think it's because it removes the contamination, leaves the paint pores wide open, and it really gets a good bond.
Smooth. It's going down there. It's grabbing a hold of it, expanding, holding on to it instead of just sitting on the surface.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, again, that's just going to depend. And again, when in doubt, I stack it. I know a lot of people don't like stacking things. I use bead maker as a drying agent after every single wash. But with the drying agent, it's reduced down. And so it's not at its full strength like it is when you apply it. But once every 3 months, I do apply it onto the naked paint, and you can feel and see a difference. It pops it even on a well-maintained car. And then even our daughter's car, that's, she's just turned 18. And she doesn't take care of it perfectly, but she is very picky about her cars.
Right.
But we at least get 2 or 3 months out of it, and that's on a car that sits outside and is not well maintained.
Right.
So now we go into Dream Makers. So our trio. So how do you see, when we developed Dream Maker, and we had, if you take and look who's on this, is Gordon McCall, is when we had Gordon involved in this and we developed it for his project last year. How did you see DreamMaker and how have you used it since that time?
So it is just a car show gloss amplifier. So that is its one job. This product gets an award because it literally just has one job. So, but what we have found, and so going back to car show gloss amplifier. So what this is going to do is this is going to really make that paint pop. It's going to give it that depth and the glow, the warm glow that we miss from not using Carnauba waxes, right?
Absolutely.
So it's kind of that in a bottle. It just gives it that nice pop. And it is so easy to apply.
It is, and
right?
it kind of, let's go over the static situation, is it is going to give an anti-static topper to the surface over bead maker. You can use that as a combo or standalone. And so it's going to go there. So it really is a magical. So, okay, you ready to jump into the next one? I think we're ready. So what's going on is this is pretty exciting in both of us here. You got to grab that. I'll grab one, you grab the other. And so Legend, you know, it's been a really game changer for a lot of professionals.
Yeah, it came out almost a year ago today. It's literally been a year.
It's unreal. And it's one of, I mean, I've got it on all my vehicles naturally, right? You've got it on yours. It's on us right behind here a year ago. We did that right here. And so your husband's vehicle, but let's talk about the change that we just made with the new bottle.
So what we found is that Legend really took off. It's really become a very talked about, and it's just an amazing coating. Really, really good results. Everyone loves it. So what we did is we came out with the 50 mil size, which this is going to be for those who run production, who use it on a lot, maybe want to use it on more vehicles. So this is a standalone bottle. So this, like Inspiration in the 50 mil, it's going to be a standalone. And this way you can order as many applicators as you want, as many door jam stickers as you want, and get more vehicles out of one bottle. So it's kind of for those of us that just want to put Legend on everything that we see and don't need all the boxes.
Absolutely. And the bigger size, if you're doing like, I found out on any coating, I really load the pad up. It's really important to load that pad up, is that if you're using it on like my Ram truck, it's a big full-size vehicle, you're getting pretty close. This one you can put it on. I like to go thick on coatings. I really do, and it's not because I want to sell more coatings. We've done that since all the way back in 04, is we found out a lot of people put it on too thin, and then you've got problems, you know. You don't want to lob it on, you want to pour it on the surface, but on the same token, you want this really preloaded up nice. This allows you to get through a big vehicle and have product left over. And so it's pretty cool.
So we're really excited that this is coming out in the 50 mil. So that is also available now.
All right. And so now we talk about our favorite. Both of us love Soul. And so Soul is something we're going to do a demo right now for you. And we're going to go live on this. Soul, one of my favorite, I'm going to stop right now, is because we talked about this off camera, is that where detailers our professionals are doing well with this, believe it or not, this isn't popular, but I'm all about profits for detailers, not popularity. Is that they're doing a wash and a clay, and they're coming right behind with Soul and putting it on, and that's with no paint correction. My brand new Ram, I did not have time to correct it. We got it right in the heat of everything. I put this product on, I took and decontaminated it, cleaned it up really good. It's unreal of what this did for the truck, how it made it look, popped the color, it's easier to wash. So we're gonna actually do a demo right now. Again, sharp objects. I'm not gonna do that.
I'll do it for you. So, and I just have some comments on that while I open these towels here. The wash clay seal. So yeah, it is one of those things where, you know, the question gets asked, do you absolutely have to do paint correction? And the thing about this is, for me, is I would rather leave behind a stronger protection for those individuals not wanting to do, you know, either a full coating or paint correction, because honestly, with how easy Soul is to apply, and I know the durability of it, I find that I can apply Soul to a whole vehicle faster than I can a heavy SiO2 spray. Or even bead maker. I can almost put it on faster than I can bead maker. So for me, I think it's such a great service for the customer to do the wash clay Soul.
Oh, I love it.
And
and this is a user-friendly product to where if you are do it yourself and you want to put this product on, it's completely doable. And so So again, Sydney's going to take. You want two towels or 3?
I do 2. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll hand you towels. How's that? Since I've got sharp objects.
All right. So again, like we talked about, we want to make sure we're using plenty of product. So because this applicator is brand new, I'm going to kind of preload it pretty heavy. So real quick, let's talk about a little bit more about Sol. So Sol is a fantastic topper for. We talked about it as a standalone, but it's great on top of Inspiration or Legend. Awesome as either. Yes.
This, you put 1 coat of this on.
Yep.
And then let it cure. How long are you letting this cure?
Like 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then I'm going right behind with Sol over the top of it.
Yeah.
That is a winning combo.
It's amazing.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And we've been doing, we work closely with Porsche in Southern California. We've been doing all the Porsches with that combo. Yeah. Oh, it is heavenly.
Heaven, yes.
And actually, the wearability of the combo, it's amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yep.
So show us how it's done.
So we can use it as a standalone. We can use it as our second coat right when we originally coat the vehicle. And then we can also use it as ceramic maintenance topper. So this product's very versatile. So this Challenger has Inspiration that's been about 2.5 years on this one. This car, if you guys remember from our installation video for Legend, this was the car that we put Legend on. And so it's been exactly a year. So we're going to show you on Inspiration and Legend just how easy it is to refresh the whole coating.
Absolutely.
And it's so quick and easy.
And
so
one of them, you've got a painted surface here, and you've got vinyl over here, which is really cool.
All right, so I'm going to do my wet line. And this product is so fun to use because, one, it has a scent, right? It smells like peppermint.
I could say what I called it years ago. I could do that. I won't. I'll be a good boy. So let me tell you, people at home right now, if the weather is nice, I'm covering that whole hood.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'll go to, because a lot of people take it off too soon.
Yep. So
You
I'm
can
going to let that
You can
sit.
come in, and camera will come in
I'm
here.
actually going to put it on the other car
and
too
you'll
now.
start seeing it rainbow. It's too soon.
Yep.
That's way too soon. What is it, 70 degrees in here? Somewhere right in there right now? I could probably get all the top surfaces in this entire car done and still not be too rushed on that.
Yeah.
You can see it really flashing
really
good
rainbow.
right now.
Yep. And then I'm going to do this section over here. So also, so this hood we did in Legend. So it looks amazing. This is vinyl satin wrapped. It has, this is my personal car. It's worn great. It washes great. Awesome. So
and 10,000 miles on this thing since we last did it.
Yep.
So it's not a garage queen. This thing gets driven year round.
For sure. So the Sol is going to go on just awesome on this as well. On the wrap, it's going to just give that, and then we'll just put a little bit on the paint here.
And again, Sydney's going a really small area right now just because we're live.
Right.
She'd be covering this thing.
Yeah.
It's really fast.
Yep.
We did a demo last week in training, and Tucker and I, we did the entire both sides down the sides. It took us about 10 minutes to do. And then we literally had some coffee. We had a couple sips, and then came back and took it off. So you don't want to take it off too soon. And again, you go look at the red car. You can see it flashing very nicely now. Still, not a rush.
Look at
and
that.
so,
So I'm going to use.
It's going very well.
Yep. So I like to use a 365 for my first wipe. So we're going to go ahead and start wiping. So and the thing about Sol is I want to leave behind as much of it as possible because I want that to all bond with the paint. I want it to get the full use of the coating. So I'm going to go over with one pass with my first towel, and then my second towel, I'm going to use the new Eagle 450s from the Rag Company. I love this towel. It's just really soft and easy to use it. And even though it's got a little bit longer of a pile, I don't find that it leaves behind lint, so I really like to use it for this use.
It's
so this
awesome for this.
Yeah, so it's just going to pick up any of those last trails from the Sol. It's kind of my insurance wipe. I'm going to flip it once and just go back over, but so nice, so easy to remove.
And it's amazing. I smell the coating on the towel. I love that smell. So non-offensive. And
now
so here
this
you go.
one I'm going to start wiping because on the vinyl it does flash a little bit faster.
But you can see that. Look at how nice, and she's not in a hurry. It's not over cured. She's not fighting it. That's what's nice about this product.
Yeah, you have a long time to work, which is
and again,
really nice.
Here's what I love about it is you get a mobile detailer. I still don't recommend doing this in the sun, but if you got a canopy, you've got the shade. It's great for that, isn't it, Sydney?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic.
Yes, it's awesome for kind of beginner coaters if you're a little bit nervous about coating. It's also great when used in the sun because you just do have a lot of working time. So you might start wiping off sooner than those of us in a shop. but you still have plenty of time.
Absolutely. You know, I feel like your personal butler. You know, I'm sitting here with the towel
like
over my arm, you know, waiting for you.
I like
and
it.
so you're almost to that point where you probably do have a detailing butler now.
I
you know?
wish.
Yeah, right. Don't tell Mike.
Yeah,
you know,
I
don't
wish.
tell Mike. But if you come in here, look at this. You can see now this has been removed, but look at the gloss enhancement that it's done on this vinyl. And so it's a fantastic look, feel, and experience. The water show afterwards when the customer washes their car or the end user washes the car, it's just amazing. It looks great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
And you can see how it gave the wrap just a little bit deeper color, just brightens it up, refreshes it, keeps it safe. You know, wraps are not cheap.
Not cheap.
Not cheap to have done. So super easy. We just absolutely love this coating. It's so great.
Well, the swirl salt vehicle, my old truck, came up here, and so I think it was one of the first times we met.
Yeah.
That was wrapped. That wrap was 6 years old when I pulled it off, and it was still. I could have got another 2 or 3 years out of it, and it spent half its life outside.
Yeah.
So how cool is that?
Yeah.
So I think we've got enough time for a few questions.
Okay.
So is there any questions out there that we can cover right now?
Sure, yeah. There's kind of a mixture of comments and questions here. People asking about a variety of the things there on the table. So let me actually start with a coating related one since we just kind of talked about the coating there. I've actually got Aaron's. He's asking, so inspiration, specifically inspiration coating, is in the middle. It's not too hard, but not quite as easy as, say, Soul.
Right.
So you got your Legend, your inspiration, and then your Soul. Okay.
And let me tell you, inspiration still got a huge demand, and there's vehicles I still put it on.
Oh yeah.
It is fantastic on. It's very forgiving around a vehicle that's got a lot of plastic trim. So if you've got a vehicle that's got a lot of unpainted plastic trim, that's still my go-to because you can be a little sloppy with it.
Yeah.
And get away with it. Where Legend, you've got to be a little more careful around the trim and make sure to get it off.
Yeah. So inspiration, I still probably use it, 30 to 40% of the vehicles that I'm coating, I'm still using inspiration. I love it. It's a really durable coating. It, is such a breeze to use. But where I feel it really shines is, like you said, if I'm doing a vehicle that has a lot of plastic trim, you can just coat right over the trim and you don't even have to level it.
Looks great.
Legend, because it is so high solid, you do have to level
Absolutely.
it. But it's also a great wheel coating for the same reason. You have a ton of time to work and it really holds up on wheels.
Good
really
point.
great. So I kind of just gauge with, what I'm doing, how much plastic is involved.
Me too.
Inspiration is it's so awesome on trim. So awesome.
And then I've got Luke Berge, who's actually in the building somewhere here, saying, could one apply Soul on a different manufacturer's coating? So say you wanted to put Soul on top of somebody else's coating.
Yes. So I've totally done it. It works great. No interference. I actually have a black Mustang that had a different coating on it that was fairly durable, long lasting. So we had to do some paint correction on it because it had gotten water spots and things like that. And so I just did the work. The coating was still underneath there, but we needed to kind of up the protection and the shine and the depth and all of that. And so I put Soul right over it. Took me 20 minutes. Looked absolutely amazing.
One of the reasons that P&S, we're slow to come out with new products, especially on the double X side, is the amount of testing that we do. And believe it or not, when all these coatings came out, we knew that detailers are mixologists, and they're going to take and like something, and they're going to put something over the top of something else.
Yeah.
So we actually go through a lot of that testing just to make sure how it's going to react. And it's like Sydney said, it's been a really good experience. We've had a lot of luck with it.
Yep.
Nice.
I love
and then I've got Kirby Thompson here asking, if using Soul without polishing, what lube product should you be using during the clay process?
So you do this in training.
Yeah,
What's
we
your
do
favorite?
this in training. So believe it or not, because I don't want any interference with the coating at all, we're going to take and use paint prep on harder clear coats, something that's like a Mercedes, the new Ram trucks. If it's a little softer, maybe like a Subaru or a Porsche that can be a little finicky at times, believe it or not, we're just going to use Pearl 1 ounce to a 32 ounce mix, and we're going to use just Pearl as clay lube, and then come back and paint prep it and then coat it. And so it's really simple, but it all means, believe it or not, paint prep's a really good substance if you're going to be doing those wash, clay, and coats.
Yeah.
That's a great way to go about it, because then again, you're done. You don't have to paint prep it to touch the paint again.
You're ready to go.
All right, now I got one final one I'm able to ask here before we're out of time, but let me get JB up on the screen saying, how long after applying bead maker should you apply paint gloss on top of for anti-static? So
Great
the time frame, you got to wait.
Yes, so this is actually going to apply to whether you're using paint gloss or dream maker on top of bead maker. I like to give it a good 30 to 45 minutes.
Perfect.
Just to give the bead maker a little bit of time to cure on its own, and I don't find any challenges. So I think I'm going to stick with that 30 to 45. That's kind of the sweet spot.
I agree. We've done a lot. We've done. 15 minutes is a little too soon. You can sometimes get a little streakiness, especially on finicky paints. But Sydney just nailed it. She does it all the time. We follow her direction on that, and it works perfectly.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, I think that pretty much rounds things out. Guys, anything left to add? Anything we should touch on before it's time to go?
Sydney and I were talking about this before we came on. What an honor it is to be among not just the Rad Company personnel. It gives me chills because I had my big start here in Idaho. Who would have ever guessed that such a legendary company would have come out of Idaho? Idaho has to be proud of you guys. But even equally to that is just the amount of professionals that we've got, influencers right here, young men and women, and to be around other professionals and people so hungry about detailing, it's an honor because I'm older than you. I never thought that I would ever see anything like this in my career. And every time I'm here, I'm humbled and I'm reminded how blessed we are to do something that we really, really love, and how lucky we are to have partners like all of you guys, not just the Rad Company, even our competitors that were here. It's pretty, you ever pinch yourself?
Yeah, so amazing.
It's just to sit here and see all the people that came through here this week and watch it while I was home before I got here, and then get to watch it tomorrow, and it's really exciting. So we want to thank all of you. This is all about you guys.
Yep. Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
Rennie.
so much to the Rad Company. Yeah, you guys are amazing.
Well, thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate that. And that was a great demonstration. It's been a fun afternoon, and you guys obviously contribute heavily to that. So
one last thing. The president of the IDA, Alan's on, and I was told to give a British salute to him. So Rennie Hill to you, sir. So there we go. Hey, thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Thank you, Rennie. Thank you, Sydney. And before we wrap things up here, I'm just going to touch on it one more time. We have a sale going on. This happens every day during TRCMA 2022. It's a different sale each day of the week, and it has to do with whatever brands we're touching on that given day. So, if any of the brands you've seen today are interesting to you, or you've been thinking about it but you haven't pulled the trigger yet, today would be the perfect day to get in on Veloci, Solution Finish, Buff and Shine, P&S, including the new off-road line. And yeah, that pretty much rounds it out. And of course, as we scroll down, we see the TRCMA charity coin, which today is the P&S themed one, which goes to helping development of water restoration projects in Africa. And once again, $10 for the coin, but 100% of those proceeds go to the charity. So if you want to help support in a big way, that is really an easy way to do it, and get a really cool bit of memorabilia to remember TRCMA 2022 by after the fact. And it's limited edition coins, so there's only a few of them out there. You're going to be one of the lucky few, and they aren't making more of them. So that's it. All right. Well, obviously, tomorrow we've got more coming up with Koenig, the Detailer's Business Academy, which is Ivan LaCroix, ExoShield, and then the Rad Company. That rounds out our morning. That's going to be a fun one. And then a big mystery. Ooh, what's going to happen tomorrow afternoon for the Friday finale? It's going to take up the whole rest of the afternoon, so it better be good. And of course, here at the very end of the show, I must say, you can't go anywhere just yet because we're going to play some wonderful behind the scenes, some bloopers from this morning's intro, this afternoon's intro. You saw that part. That's part of the adventure story. But now we'll show the behind the scenes. And tomorrow there's more yet to come, so don't go anywhere.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Yep. Sebastian, you're amazing. I want you to know that.
Wow, thank you.
Appreciate you.
It's my first day on the job as an audio guy, and I am already getting compliments. It's crazy.
So where funny how that works.
You'll be in the back.
Oh, this thing's gonna sing.
No, trust me, it's not singing.
I'm in the back.
What do you think of this? pretty nice. We're in the brisk outdoors.
It's kind of nice where we're at versus over there, would you say?
It'd be kind of funny if it started to sing. Just enough to scare them.
Oh, there's a freaking cricket. Did you bring what? Say what?
It's dead. You killed him twice.
This is just you had one.
Eat it.
Anthony's now making beats on his phone.
It looks awesome. VR director, drone pilot.
Anthony's playing Born on the Bayou on his phone.
Are they complaining?
I hope so.
Seabass, can you give us a narration of what's going on?
I need a selfie. Right now, I'm just here in Born on the Bayou. Can I get it? I think it's in its third verse
Right
at this point.
I almost farted, and so I didn't know if that would come across or not.
Right above you. No,
It landed on the dock right in front of me.
no, I'm not kidding.
Just remember, Anthony, you're doing this for your family. You're doing this so your kid can eat. This is paying the bills.
Should I do this
like you're very disappointed there's no water.
No, slow-mo.
Slow-mo?
Yeah.
You got it.
Because if he throws up, then it would be funny.
What about you? Now we have to do it again.
No! No!
Come on.
Anthony, that was not nearly enough sand.
That was like a little spittle.
You know, you can like act like you're gonna
Just attach this. It's gonna be fun reversing this footage and making it look like you're just littering. You get rid of the spider. How big is it?
It's on the top of that white thing.
Start rolling.